One.
Oh no! Did that make the cut? Me?
I don't think so.
Me yelling at you. This is episode 124, right?
Yes, it is.
Episode 124 of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast.
Woo!
That is, I have a need to know, Adam.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
And I am Tomale Furby, aka Topher.
Did you hear?
See how clever that is?
Yes. Now I can hear it. It didn't work in my own voice. I wasn't saying it right. But did you hear all the conservatives when these riots were happening for the illegal immigrants? They all started talking shit about Mexican food. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like
Mexican food. I mean, maybe we're a little bit biased because we do live in Southern California, but Mexican food is amazing,
dude. It is, and it's not just burritos and tacos and enchiladas, and you know what I mean. Like there's steaks, there's soups that they make are just phenomenal. The seafood, there's a lot. It's a cuisine.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Did you know Caesar salad is actually it's Mexican?
Yes, it's from that city right on the other side of the border. That starts with a J that I can't remember the name of because I
Tijuana. No, wait, J.
No. You're right, Tijuana.
Yes,
the Caesar salad was invented in Tijuana. I don't know how many people know that.
I did not. I knew it was Mexican. I had no idea it was Tijuana. That's hilarious. You wouldn't think Tijuana is like some bastion of culinary arts.
Apparently, they're turning things around down there.
Really?
It's a lot more respectable than it once used to be.
Interesting. So yes, episode 124, we were going to do a deep dive, but there's a lot to go into.
There's just too much stuff going on.
Yeah, there really is. I didn't think so. And then when I was putting the show together, I'm like, whoa, that was a lot of activity last week.
Now, we are a conspiracy podcast, and I want to talk about conspiracies.
Yes, please.
I know I'm overweight, but YouTube doesn't have to put a bunch of ads in my feed that are all about losing weight. That's just insulting. I know I'm overweight.
Have you been looking for stuff?
No.
Huh.
Every single YouTube video I try and play, it's that one guy. If you have ad blocker on your YouTube, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. But there's this one guy that's you want to lose belly fat. This is how you do it, and then there's all these really fat women who are talking about how much weight they've lost due to the injections they're taking.
Oh, the Ozempic ones.
No, they're saying, "Oh, you can't get Ozempic? Try this."
What? Now they're doing that? You're kidding me.
No, man, I'm not kidding you. I see it every single time I open up YouTube.
Is it working? I mean, you're thinking about it. I mean, I'm not thinking about doing it. I mean,
I'm not doing injections, and I'm not going to listen to some YouTuber's piece of advice on how to lose belly fat. Want to get a summer bod before summer?
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Just do a bunch of cocaine and walk a lot.
Exactly.
Smoke cigarettes and do cocaine. You'll never be hungry again.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that is true. I mean, what's the difference between, and you just said it's a different one. It's not even Ozempic. So who knows if this is even FDA approved? It's so dangerous.
I've been so frustrated with seeing these ads that I completely I shut my eyes and plug my ears. And I don't even know what it's advertising because I refuse to bring that advertising into our podcast.
Sounds good. Makes sense. But yeah, I have YouTube Premium, so I don't get those ads. Although, of course,
I refuse to pay for YouTube.
You get the read-ins or whatever they're called. Is that what they're called? Read-ins?
Sure.
Yeah. I was watching Theo Vaughn the other day, and his are so long, and he's so funny. He holds up a piece of paper and reads it.
Dude,
I love that guy.
I can't stand the just out of this world advertising.
Yeah,
it's in everything. Even my favorite channel, the Y-Files that we bring up here all the time, he has to spend the first 5 minutes talking about whoever his sponsor is. And I get it. You have to get paid for what you do, but holy shit, is it frustrating to listen to.
His way is good though, right? Because
he's got hecklefish.
Yeah, and he writes a complete like script, and it's really highly produced. And I mean, I think they're getting their money's worth.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, we'll talk about everything that happened this week. All right. There was some great interviews and some crazy information that Congressman Burleson
and some cool footage. I don't know if I sent this to you. Did you see the little gray alien walk that got caught on the ring cam?
Oh yeah. We have that queued up too.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I don't think I sent that to you, and I don't know if you sent that to me. But okay, if we've got it queued up, great.
Yeah, I think I sent it. Great. All right, let's get started with our music.
Hell yeah, brother.
Woke up and I can't feel my body. The room is dark, the people are shady. Their heads are too big, their bodies too small. They poke me with things that make my skin crawl. Oh my God, I don't think these are people at all. Now I'm running for my life. Need to get back to my kids, back to my wife. The little gray men, they point and screech. They must be upset that I'm off the leash. But don't worry, this will never happen to you. Because Adam and Topher will see you all through. Just keep listening to the UAP podcast. And keep your eyes up with your two.
That's right. You listen to the UAP podcast.
So
your favorite podcast.
So I'm in the middle of trying to write a rap song as an intro. Nice. And I was like, I need some, because I'm not a rapper. Mm-hmm. So I pulled up some clips of 8 Mile on YouTube.
Ooh, nice.
And that made me not want to make it even more, because Eminem is just, he is brutal. He is the best rapper of all time.
Yeah. It's insane how his mind works. And how quickly he raps, and just how effective the lyrics are, and how deep they go as well. There's a reason why he's like probably top 5 ever.
I mean, just off the cuff.
I hate his politics, but yeah.
I went into such a deep dive on him. Like, he's he's the best at what he does, but also if you watch some of his interviews, he's funny as hell, and he's got such a good poker face where he'll just say like the most random, off the wall stuff and keep a straight face. You can tell he's laughing inside.
I mean, if you have Dre going after you to produce you and distribute you, you're amazing. And talking about his sense of humor, his first videos were so funny. That's just ridiculous, right?
What was the movie with Seth Rogen and that other guy where they went to interview the leader of North Korea?
Oh yeah, same but different. No, wait, no, but that line is in there. They made that line famous.
Anyway, the beginning of that movie, James, I can't remember his last name. He's interviewing Eminem, and Eminem comes out and says that he's gay, and he just drops it like it's no big deal. It's a really, really funny scene. And it just goes to show how comedic Eminem really is.
Yeah. Didn't that movie make the North Koreans hack PlayStation? Sony, yeah.
Yes, it did.
Fun times. I remember that.
That's why it skipped theaters and went straight to video on demand. Yeah.
Oh my God. Could you imagine that they have that? Well, I mean, that's a big deal if Sony gets hacked. It was passwords and everything, right? Yeah, I remember I had to change my password.
Yep. Those North Koreans are at it again. But what are we up to? Let's see what we're up to.
Yes, what are we up to?
UAP James on Twitter or X says, new Congressman Burleson says David Grusch told him that President Trump was briefed on alien human hybrids. Grusch says there are aliens that are crossbreeds living in the world.
Yep.
He said when Trump was briefed, he had this existential briefing that rocked his worldview.
So this apparently happened in 2016, I think, or 2017. But let's take a listen.
He says some of them that there are aliens that are crossbreeds living in the world. And I asked him, I go, okay, do they know that they're a crossbreed, or do they, like, how would you know that they are a crossbreed? And he didn't have an answer for that. Like he didn't know if they knew what, but he said that the briefings he's had described, talked about them, and he said when Trump was briefed on this topic, because Trump finally had a briefing, and he was in the middle of impeachment, like he was in the middle of being impeached.
Of course.
So he's going through that, and then he had like this existential briefing that just kind of rocked his worldview. He joked in the briefing whenever they said that there were these half breeds. He joked that Adam Schiff must be one of them.
Schiff.
I would go the other way. I'd say like people like Taylor Swift crossbreed.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no reason she should be as big as she is now.
I mean, it is insane how she's a billionaire, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, she's as like I said, if she stands sideways, you lose sight of her. I mean, she's as a board. She's got a horse face, and everyone wants to go like, oh, she's so attractive and all this other stuff. She's
maybe 10 years ago, but I mean,
even now.
And she's brainwashed an entire generation.
Yeah.
And they're even so. Yeah, I don't want to say, but I mean, like she has, I guess her concert also is being licensed out to like drama schools and music schools so they can perform. Like
unreal,
like it's a play. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Have you seen her dance? She can't dance, man. No. This is not me just ragging on Taylor Swift. I just think she has undue popularity. She should not be getting as much attention as she does. She is not that. She is milquetoast.
It happens a lot.
She's milquetoast in everything that she does.
Yeah, and it's because we have kingmakers and queenmakers. You know what I mean? They seriously, they can do that to a person if they have the right politics. And with her, we know the Democratic platform used her a lot to push their message. Didn't work, obviously.
I am actually interested in this. Because that supposedly has been the alien agenda all along, right? Is to crossbreed with, for whatever reason, aliens, their DNA it's no bueno. And so they have to use humans to make hybrids. I mean, this has been going on. This thought has been going on for a very long time, since like the 60s. I think people have been talking about this.
Yes. Yep.
But it's just okay, so you're an alien civilization that has come to Earth. You successfully crossbreeded with the sentient life that lives on the planet, us. Mm-hmm. Now what? What's the next step?
I mean, if you read the book of David Jacobs and the interviews he's done, the message was that they are going to take over, and that the time is coming, and that they're going to take over. And that I remember that he did that interview right before COVID hit, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" But I mean, that's what it is. They want to take over the planet, and they want it for themselves.
Well, okay, so I'd argue that they already have, or there's already a group that has already. So
right, yeah.
So what are you doing? It's a very roundabout plan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it could be also to just mess with us and maybe keep fear there, or have some underlying narrative going on there. Who knows? They're aliens.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I always say. It's impossible for us to understand their motivations.
Yeah, but the hybrid thing has been around for a while. Even Bigelow from Bigelow Aerospace had a pretty famous interview, I think with 60 Minutes. And towards the end, he told them, they're like, you believe in UFOs? He's like, they're here. They walk among us. And I think we played something last week, of James Fox saying that Bigelow told him that, and he had that experience with that guy in DC, right?
Yes.
That looked at him, and it just clicked. Like he knew, and that guy knew that he wasn't human. So scary, man.
Very scary.
Yeah, especially with these abductions. So we're gonna have lots of because Burleson was pretty busy last week, so we're gonna have lots of clips from him.
All right, great.
This is also from Red Panda Koala. President Trump was briefed on Greys and Nordic aliens. This is I think it's a
Nordics. I feel like every girl I've ever dated has been Nordic. You've met all my Nordic girlfriends.
Yes.
They all share a very similar theme, which I'm trying to break myself out of.
A very similar phenotype.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that the Nordic people or the Nordic aliens are like a few hundred years more advanced than we are, but they're not super advanced. They're not like, he said the Greys, whatever is sending the Greys is extremely advanced, like thousands and thousands of years.
He said whatever is sending the Greys, right?
Well,
he didn't say the
but I mean,
Greys, but we know that.
I was gonna say that's the common belief, is that the Greys are essentially biological machines. They're not the masters. They're just
androids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like us sending these
Drones.
Optimus, or the androids that we have, like Optimus, and sending that to Mars.
Because that makes sense in a human perspective, of course. This is all speculation, but of course you wouldn't send yourselves to go visit a crazy primates that nuke themselves. You'd send the machines that that it means nothing if they're blown up or shot or whatever.
And that's always been what was said as well. When we shoot them down and the bodies are dead, no one comes to get them.
Right.
And now that makes sense because
they
they're
can
expendable.
They can just 3D print more.
Yeah, exactly.
More advanced than us, because it's doing all the anti-gravity stuff, all crazy, all this crazy stuff that's very highly advanced. And a lot of it is what he says with the Greys is psionic. So they basically don't have physical interfaces. They're using their mind, and that there's an interface that picks up thought, and then that and that's how they operate these vehicles, is out of psionic. But the Nordic people somewhat resemble humans, and they have been experimenting with crossbreeding with humans. And he says some of them, that there are aliens that are crossbreeds living in the world. And I asked him, I go, okay, do they know that they're a crossbreed, or do they, like, how would you know that they are a crossbreed? And he didn't have an answer for that. Like he didn't know if they knew what, but he said that the briefings he's had talked about them. And he said when Trump was briefed on this topic, because Trump finally had a briefing, and he was in the
okay, we heard that part. But yeah, so it's pretty cool that we have a representative speaking like this. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It was always the fringe UFO groups, talking about this, and now it's just talking about it by a congressman. And you sent me this. I think it might go deeper into it, maybe.
Burleson, Grusch told me Trump had an existential briefing that rocked his worldview. Trump joked about the half-breeds. Grusch told me the Greys are super advanced. They use their mind. There's an interface to pick up thought. The Nordics are crossbreeding with humans. They are living in the world. There's essentially what we've been covering for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me skim this.
Yeah.
What Grusch told me, that this blew my mind.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
He said that the Nordic people, the Nordic aliens, are a few hundred more years advanced. Yeah, I'll cover that. Talks about the Greys. Yeah, I mean, this is essentially just what we just talked about. He said that when Trump was briefed on this topic, because Trump finally had a briefing, he was in the middle of an impeachment. Yep. He said he had an existential briefing that kind of shocked his worldview. Yeah, we talked about all of this already.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then he also said this. He said that Grusch introduced him.
Contact with an individual.
Wait, Grusch introduced him to someone that speaks to aliens. But I feel like this is kind of, I don't like where this one is going, because they're trying to bring everyone back into the control matrix. If you know what I mean? Because they're trying to link it now to Christianity and Jesus and stuff like that.
Well, and this ties into shit. What's the name of the
Bluebeam?
Yes, Project Bluebeam. I mean, this ties directly into it.
Yeah, and that too, exactly. So why is Grusch doing this? Anyway, he introduces Burleson to this guy.
I'd argue he's probably being drip fed information by the CIA or upper levels of government. So
I mean, Mellon as well. He works for Mellon, right? And Mellon is intelligence, and you have people like dark journalists, saying that if you're working with Mellon, then it's an op. You are part of an op.
Yep.
So even though he talked to Grusch, Grusch wasn't allowed to be interviewed because Mellon told him that don't go on that show. All right, let's take a listen to this clip.
I believe that there's so much truth in the Bible. In fact, so I'll tell you guys something.
Of course you do. You're a congressman. I think that's a prerequisite.
Yeah, it's you swear on the Bible and then you swear on the flag of Israel, and
right, and then go to the wall and cry. Yeah,
exactly.
That I have David Grusch put me in contact with an individual who blew my mind. I don't know if I can believe him, but it's an individual who has aliens talk to him, and this individual went from being a Jewish person,
red flag right there,
to being an atheist in his life. When he started talking to what he calls his aliens, or angels, they started talking to him. He has these strange experiences, and then his wife will transcribe what he says, and a lot of it is predictions that come true. And what he told me is he became a Christian. He started believing in Jesus because these things that were talking to him said, yes, Jesus is real. Jesus, I mean, was a real person. He really did perform these miracles, and this guy, and he was the Messiah, and he is part of the divine council with God. And then a guy who didn't even know what the divine council was, the Bible, suddenly was being told through. So anyway, that was an interesting thing. So let me go back to your question. When you ask, like, all these ancient, like, megalithic sites like Machu Picchu, or the pyramids the pyramids that are in, whether in the Aztec Empire, the Inca, and then you've got pyramids of Egypt, it's ubiquitous across the world. And some of these sites have got stone structures at their base that there's even modern technology and modern machinery would have a very.
Wait, I think he's going off script here. I mean, what does that have to do with Christianity, that guy talking to him? Maybe he'll link it together. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll continue, but
I mean,
interested to see where he's going.
A lot of you've actually brought it up many times on this show is that the aliens are actually demons, or maybe this is, and I think I've brought it up as well. When people in history have talked to quote unquote angels, they're actually talking to aliens and all this other stuff.
Right.
So I think that's where the crossover is.
Yeah, and they could be it could be themselves psyoping us to keep us controlled. I mean, these religious structures are, if you're an alien, that's what you'd want to see.
Of course,
that the population is adhering to these principles and always communicating with whoever's up in the sky. And I was had a theory that even, like, how Muslims all pray to one direction, right, to the Kaaba. I mean, could you imagine if, because now everyone's talking about consciousness and how consciousness is base reality and how it links everything together. If you have everyone just having their intention just to one area, that's like gathering data. It's like the internet in a way, but not digital. I always thought that's what it is. It's like, I don't know if they're mining the data or doing what, but that's why I always felt like that was. So it wouldn't surprise me that aliens would push us into this,
of course,
just to keep us in check.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And that they're above us, right? And that they're divine.
They're so much better. We've got our cool communist ways of providing for everyone.
There you go.
Even though you know what the deal is.
Yeah,
they're sending robots down to do the dirty work.
Yeah, and they're always pushing the whole climate change agenda, which again that's what the elite push, right, for global control.
Yeah, they always talk about global warming and oceans level rising. In the meantime, they're buying oceanfront property. Yeah.
It's insane. You see, they had 90 private jets go to Bezos's wedding. 90 private jets.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Come on, guys, you got to quit driving so much. So sorry, I got to go give this speech in Guam, and they fly their private jet that uses up more gasoline, than we do an entire year driving.
Exactly. Fuck. Yeah. Get yourself an EV, even though it's like 30% more expensive than a regular car.
Yeah. we live in California, as I stated before, but I saw California overturn that bill about every car developed after, whatever year had to be an electric vehicle.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, good, man. I remember it was 2030 or something. They weren't going to allow any car that's not an EV car to be sold after 2030.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, I'm not against the use of EV vehicles, and I think it's better, but it's not this golden ticket that they keep pronouncing.
No, we don't have the infrastructure to even charge all those cars.
Right. We don't have the infrastructure. And how do you generate electricity? By burning coal, baby.
Yep, exactly.
You're still doing that. The batteries are horrible for the environment. I mean, we're just not there yet.
No, we're not. I mean, and if we are ready, I'll be 100% for it. It's just you have to be practical. That's all.
Yeah.
Right?
All I want is a solar powered car that you can use water for fuel. But again, that will never happen because of what the oil industry, the hold that they have on the entire world economy. So,
yeah, and I think even EVs might actually increase the need for coal and oil, because you need to build more power plants. I mean, it's the same thing, whether it's coming from a gas station or from a power station. What's the difference? You're increasing the load, which means
truthfully, what we need to do is move to nuclear energy, but we're not ready to talk about that yet, apparently.
No, yeah, and that's where all the advances are. Exactly. Yeah. All right, so I'm interested to see where Burleson has taken this.
Yeah, we kind of went on a tangent there.
Putting in place and making it that perfect. It suggests to me that there were ancient civilizations that were extremely advanced, and what happens is and I think Tim Alberino is right. Like, you have cataclysm occur, whether it's a comet that hits, or it's the poles the electromagnetic, the magnetic poles.
Noah's Ark, Eric.
Yes, and so it creates the Noah's Ark experience, right? And so if you read the Bible, pre-Noah was a pretty wild period in world history. And that pre-Noah period, you had, and this is where it fits in with the UFO phenomenon, okay? And when David Grusch is telling me that there's a Nordic type of aliens that crossbreeds with humans and creates this crossbreed, in the Bible it describes this. In Genesis 6, it says that basically angels looked down and lusted after the women of earth. They decided to come together, and they came down and they copulated with so basically they created hybrids, and the hybrids were called the Nephilim. And the Nephilim were considered giants or mighty men, basically demigods. And so the question is, like, when you hear this, it's like, it sounds like just wild, but it's in the Bible. And but if you look through not just the Bible, but what about Greek mythology? You look at every major historical document, it always goes back to some tale about a god that comes down, creates a half breed, and then that half breed rules. And so to me, that's a fascinating overlap that consistently happens. And so what Tim Alberino says is that, look, the Bible describes angels as non-earth creatures. At the end of the day, that means they're alien. They're not from planet Earth. They're from somewhere else. And we tend to think of them as like ethereal, that they're just these like shadow type figures, but they do have physical form, because if you read the Bible, they have physical form. They often actually look weird because they're startling when people see them. And they always have to say, "Do not be afraid," when somebody sees them. So that tells you that they don't always look human. And so it's an interesting overlap with this whole, the history of our civilization potentially.
Interesting. Yeah, good points. People have been talking about that for decades. So
Yes.
nothing really new to the field.
They have. And also, if you don't want to sleep tonight, go ahead and Google biblically accurate angels. They are terrifying looking.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact, if you take this, from the Bible 1-to-1, I mean, good God in heaven, quite literally, that would be scary for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically all eyes, right? Different sizes of eyes.
Can you do a quick Google? I want to terrify our listeners. Just do a quick Google image search, biblically accurate angels.
Biblically accurate. Oh, there it is. I didn't even have to.
Search. Do images at the top. Oh yeah, see, eyes and wings. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, very scary.
Just eyes everywhere.
Yeah. There's one that's the one that I always think of is it's a bunch of spinning wheels essentially that is made of eyes. Oh yeah, cool stuff, man. I mean, I love this kind of imagery because it's spooky and I like spooky stuff.
Yeah, it is spooky. Look at that one.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's for 99% of the people on the planet. I mean, if you saw this, you would lose your mind.
Oh, this one's a little nicer because it's got like a nice face there, but still terrifying.
Yeah. Focus on my face while I stare at giant eyes.
Damn.
Eyes and wings. Yeah. See, very scary stuff.
What's this one? Like a plant? Someone that's like a peacock, kind of
made of eyes and feathers. Yeah, sure.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, right in the middle at the bottom of your screen, right there. That one. That's the image right there. Nope.
Ooh,
to the right.
And it's got swords. This one? Or this one?
No, one more to the right.
This one.
Yeah.
The angel figure my grandma gave me, the angel figure I wanted.
That image on the right has lived in my memory since I first saw it. For whatever reason, that has really stuck with me. I don't know. This is a meme, obviously, but I saw that picture on its own on the right.
Yeah.
A long time ago. And that's what I think of when people talk about biblically accurate angels.
All right. So we have some more clips from Burleson. He went to Mexico to visit the Nazca mummies.
Yeah. So that's kind of fallen out of the news recently. People say it's been debunked and all this other stuff, but there really hasn't been proof one way or the other.
No, like they think like some are fake, but they also say that's others can't be debunked, and and Grusch basically told Burleson that that some of these that he's seen, he's also seen them in the briefings, so that's why he told him to go.
Yeah, Eesh.
So he's making just a quick speech here. Jaime Masson, whatever his name is, he made him get on the mic.
And this effort, we've been blocked in Congress. We've been blocked from receiving the briefings that we need. And so I think that it's long overdue. Look, it's not any government's right to protect any knowledge about extraterrestrial or non-human intelligence if it exists. And so we have too many people reporting things. We have too many videos coming out to ignore it. I think I have a responsibility on oversight to investigate it and do my due diligence, and that's why I'm here. And so thank you for hosting this, and I'm looking forward to seeing further scientific discovery.
Any comment about the Booger Sphere?
It's a remarkable, it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the studies come.
Thank you very much.
So very cool. I love how active he is. Honestly, we need more people. We need more people like that.
We really do
in Congress. So he's really been working hard. I think because he's got Grusch on his side, right? He hired Grusch as a consultant.
Yeah,
and then he's on Redacted. He's on Redacted here.
There to see that. Also, we had reports that there was mummies that were found in Peru that were alien mummies. And whenever I spoke with David Grusch, who was the whistleblower from the UAP, from the Pentagon that studied this stuff, I was actually probably not going to go because I thought that there's no way that that's real. And he recommended that I do because he said that based on the physiology of what he's seen in some of these mummies, not all of them, some of them are faked, but some of the mummies that exist in Peru, that based on the physiology, they are congruent with what he has seen in briefings in his former role. At the end of the day,
so he's seen that same physiology, and those things are what they said, like thousands of years old, right?
Yeah, we've covered them on the show before.
Oh yeah, many times, yeah.
And they've done like X-rays, they've done all these experiments on them, and no one can come with a conclusive, data.
No, they can't, and they have human DNA in them.
Yeah,
not all, but there's traces. Yes, exactly.
Just like Taylor Swift.
Well, maybe she'll be mummified when she's done.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past her. I wouldn't put it past us as a society to hold her up as like the beacon of humanity.
Oh God, please no.
I know, right?
So this is from the UAP reporting center. This is a big deal, the account says. Now, if you listen to the clip, it's not that big of a deal, but still, I mean, this is the U.S. Space Force Major General John Olson. He said, quote, "There absolutely is life out there." He said it during a press conference, not in a podcast, not off the record. Someone at that level in that uniform making a statement like this publicly, that's not nothing. That's a shift. True. But
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, but listen to the guy. It's still kind of vague, which is fine.
That's a guy?
No, she's going to introduce him.
Sorry, that's a bad joke and poor taste. I apologize.
General Olson, what do you think about the unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and UFOs?
Well, this is a very hot topic, and I appreciate the question. I know, admittedly, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force is quite a mouthful in an acronym. I've gotten that question a couple other times. What do you think about UFOs or aliens? And quite frankly, is having flown 83 different airplanes and had lots of hours, we've all seen lots of unexplainable elements. And the cosmos, the space realm is so large. If we look at the Earth, it is this tiny blue dot in an unlimited, almost incomprehensibly large cosmos. I personally believe that there absolutely, from a probability perspective, is life out there. However, this task force is a very serious U.S. government approach to systematically investigating and understanding these, because, of course, unidentified elements present a national security concern, present a safety of flight, present a risk that we must take and diligently pursue. But I think the question is actually more broadly put, and that is we will continue this effort, and in fact, I believe it will be getting more funding and more of a structural support level within the department. But I also believe that this is part of our never-ending quest to learn and understand and explore. And as we have on our probes that have exited the solar system to our probes to the moon, we have gone in peace to explore and discover, and we continue that yearning to see and discover, is there life out there, and what does that mean for humanity?
Yeah, see, so I even said like probabilistically, I believe it to be real. So, nothing concrete from him. He has an open mind, which is good. He said he's seen stuff when he flew in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
But still saying we don't know.
On Mars. Stole that from Heckfish.
Well, maybe you can make that into a song.
That's already a song by David Bowie.
Oh, what about Life on Saturn?
Is there life on Saturn?
All right, what's this one? Also from Red Panda. Yesterday, I spoke with this is Robert Hastings. Robert Hastings is the guy who wrote UFO and Nukes. Very respected. Yeah. And he apparently spoke to the FBI for 2 hours on this topic. Now the FBI apparently are doing a really good job with this, better than Arrow. They're not hiding anything. They're actually transparent. They're actually doing a real investigation. So they're talking to people like this guy, with which Arrow doesn't do or ignores them.
Well, they're quote unquote transparent. I'm sorry. I'm not going to trust any government agency that says that they're doing the right thing, because they never
No,
are.
I know. It's people who are seeing the work of the FBI, when comparing it to Arrow, said that the FBI's work is a lot better than Arrow. So like that. So I don't think they really use the word transparent, but
I'm just saying, like, if Arrow is the bar, that is not a high bar to clear. I could trip and fall down the stairs and still clear that bar.
I think Luna wants to defund them. She said it. Yeah, and
Good.
I think they should be defunded, because
me too.
That Kirkpatrick guy is still trying to run disinformation campaigns on the American people. All right, so listen to Hastings here.
Sweet, let's do it.
Somebody else reacted, I guess, to the Wall Street Journal article and reached out to you, the FBI. Can you share some of those details with us?
Actually, about a month ago, Bob Salas emailed me and said, I've been interviewed by an FBI agent out of the Phoenix office. His name is Adam Herndon, and he seems very interested in, what happened to me at Malmstrom in '67, and he wonders if he can talk to you. And I said, sure. So I talked to him on the phone about 10 days ago, 12 days ago. And just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I spoke with Adam and another FBI agent named Michael Herwig. And we talked for 2 hours. I'm surprised I made it for 2 hours, but they had lots of questions, and they seemed very intrigued by what I had to say. They asked, I don't know if you read your email yet today, George, but they were asking about the Russian documents that you brought back and so on. And so I'm also in touch with Jim Semivan, former high-level CIA, and Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo. And all three of them, when I told them that the FBI was going to interview me, all three of them said, do it. We've talked to them. We think their heart's in the right place, and they're trying to get, legitimate information to give them, bring them up to speed as to what's been going on over there. So, it was a very good experience, and I trust these two individuals that they're sincere in their approach and their intent.
So cool. I mean, I like that we have different agencies, I guess, competing for who will solve the UFO phenomenon.
Yeah, maybe if we pit them against each other, we'll actually get some results.
Yeah, exactly. That works, right? When you do that.
Hell yeah, baby.
All right, and now
the other team.
Ross Coulthard was on Jesse Michaels' show.
Yeah, if this is the interview I'm thinking of, this guy is not a great interviewer. No, you know what? I'm thinking of a different...
Jesse's good. Jesse's good.
You're right. I'm thinking of a different clip.
Oh, okay. So here it's in Sedona, so that's where I stopped. I wanted to hear what he, because that's the new stuff. Everything else is not new. I mean, we've played Ross so much on this show.
We have for good reason.
Yeah, for good reason. So he does talk about Sedona here, which I have never heard before. So let's see what he says here. I think he says that it's a hot spot and that there's a base there, and he did see something.
I'm sorry, you haven't heard that Sedona is a hot spot for UFOs, and they think there's a base there.
No, what I didn't hear, he witnessed and saw something there. Yeah,
I was gonna say Sedona is a huge UFO hotspot.
Yeah, I went there too. It's definitely feels different. There's an energy there for sure.
Let's do a road trip.
Yeah, Sedona's beautiful. I really enjoyed it. All right.
Number of people who would privately admit that they'd been walking in what is public land, public parkland, and they'd be stopped by men with guns, men in uniform with automatic weapons, clearly highly trained elite soldiers, probably tier 1 operatives from the way they moved, and they would basically order people, go away or we will kill you. No mucking around. And there are sightings, numerous sightings of what we saw. I saw it with my own eyes. I was told that the best time of night is around about 1:30 in the morning. And if you looked at a particular place over Secret Mountain, you would see this big orb being escorted by helicopters rising from behind Secret Mountain. So I was skeptical, but we went out with a local lady, Melinda Leslie, who has some good quality military grade night vision goggles. And we watched at 1:30 in the morning, and sure enough, up comes this beautiful golden orb, gigantic. It pulses, it's plasmatic, it slowly moves off, and the way it moved, you couldn't tell if it's because it got smaller or whether it went so fast that it just disappeared so quickly, but it just disappeared. And they were being escorted by military Black Hawk helicopters, dozens of them. I mean, the helicopter fuel bill alone for the evening that we're watching them must have been somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000. Somebody is paying huge money to operate orbs with no visible means of propulsion over Secret Mountain in Sedona. And it's funny because one of the people told us that if you want to hide something, you hide it in plain sight.
Mm.
And that's the best way to describe what's going on.
That's his book, isn't it? In Plain Sight.
Yeah,
That's
I think so. Yeah.
Nice one there, Ross. That's crazy. I didn't see the helicopters in the footage that they showed, just the orb. But that's nuts that dozens of helicopters were escorting this thing.
Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Very, very weird. I'm also wondering about so they say the witching hour is between 2 and 4 a.m., right?
Yep. It's close to that.
It's close to that, but it's not in that range. I was really hoping he was going to say 2:30 instead of 1:30.
Well, Dolan talks about 1 a.m. too. That time is a time when these things just show up over neighborhoods, just sitting there. He says 1 a.m. I remember him saying 1 a.m.
Well,
as well.
Let me interject with a little 1 a.m. story. Last night I was watching movies and stuff, and I wasn't sleeping. And I was like, you know what? It's 1 a.m. I want to go outside and look at the stars. Maybe
nice.
hopefully see something. And I went out there, and you know what I saw? My neighbor across the street. It's a woman, and she had all of her friends over, and they were having a huge fight talking about who was the better mom to their kids. And I instead of seeing any UFOs, I listened to that for about 20 minutes. And don't get me wrong, I was
fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time out there. But I did not see any UFOs, but I did hear a lot of name calling, a lot of screeching from some drunk women who are, about my age or your age.
Yeah.
They were screaming about who's the better parent.
That's hilarious. They were competing who's the better parent.
That's just what they were arguing about. And my roommate, he heard me go outside. He's the one with the dog. He comes out with the dog, and I was like, "Man, are you listening to this? This is crazy." He goes, "Oh yeah, they do this about once a month. They just get all together and they get really drunk and scream at each other." So I didn't get to see UFOs, but I got to witness that at 1 a.m.
Wow, that's pretty late for them to be screaming about.
That's
something.
what I thought too. I thought adults basically crash at like 10 at night.
You should have called the cops on them.
No, they're doing their thing. They've got to take that once a month time.
I've never called the cops on someone being loud, but people have done it to me many times throughout my life.
Really? Oh shit!
Oh god, so many times, dude.
I'm trying to remember. I've called the cops twice. I'm trying to remember the second time. The first time was because a car had gone off the road and crashed in my parents' driveway. When they lived, I won't say where they lived. They were
near here.
Near here.
Yeah,
and it had rolled over and crashed in my parents' driveway, and I called the cops then.
Dude, man, we had a similar story. That's crazy.
That was a really hilarious night for me. I was because I'd taken an Uber home because I was drinking, and I was really drunk, and I was in the garage playing Xbox, and I heard a huge crash, and I came outside, and there was this upside down car in the driveway. And there were 4 kids who were a couple years younger than me, and they were all freaking out. The car caught on fire. Oh my god, that was yeah, man, that's a fun story.
So wait, how did that happen? Because I know where the driveway is. Did they come up did they fall from the street above or something?
Yes.
Holy
I know.
Shit.
They were all okay, thankfully.
My
That was a
God.
wild night. I haven't told you about this. I
No,
used to
I've
have
never heard that
video on
story.
my phone. You can ask my mom about it. Because I had to wake her up in the middle of the night and tell her. I was like, "Hey, don't freak out. Do we have a fire extinguisher in the house?"
Don't freak out.
I was like,
He's like,
"Nobody's hurt."
what did you do?
She's like, "Oh my god, what's wrong? What's going on?" I was like, "Okay, look, there's a car crash. Nobody's hurt. The car is on fire. I already called the cops." And of course, she went into full mom mode, and
Of
we hung
course.
out with those kids, and the cops
Yeah,
came,
yeah.
and the kid who was driving was sober. I mean, it was
Oh.
just, and the
Just
problem
young
was
kids.
it had rained, and obviously, I mean, I'm assuming he was going too
Yeah.
fast and just slipped off the road. But yeah, they rolled down that off. If you can remember where my parents lived at the time, like they were going up that hill, and I mean, that's a big fall.
Damn, man. But you see, that's what they say. Nothing good happens after midnight.
Nope, nothing.
Wow.
Except,
All right.
unless it's 7 a.m. when I got arrested. But I guess that technically is after midnight.
It is after midnight. It's before work. Oh man. Well, this was a good interview. He says a lot of good stuff in there. You actually sent me some clips or a clip, so I'll play that next.
Okay, great.
So that was cool about Sedona. I had no idea that you had that experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry I keep going off on tangents. This feels like a tangent episode.
No, it's all good. Ross Coulthard says the Department of Defense. Oh, okay. So is this the exact same? No, no. This is another one.
It's the same interview, but I think it's a different clip.
Yeah, different clip. Okay, but yeah, it's still helicopters. But yeah, this is scary too.
Wait! Before you hit play, you want to read the title of the thing?
Ross Coulthard says the Department of Defense ordered Black Hawk helicopters to hover over a Senate Intelligence Committee staffer's home when Jake Barber provided them with firsthand evidence of the legacy UFO program. It is truly a deep state protecting itself, he says.
Yeah, man. Really scary stuff.
Yeah, this would
one of the things Jake Barber told me when he was giving his direct evidence of the legacy program. First person evidence. I mean, people say, where's the evidence?
Yeah.
The first person evidence of Jake Barber was given to the Senate Select Committee for Intelligence.
Yes.
And one of the staffers on that committee was concerned for his own safety and asked Jake, are you able to help me get security because somebody from the Defense Department is ordering helicopters to fly across and over my home. They're harassing my home. And that's the kind of thing that the Defense Department was doing. They were buzzing a guy with Black Hawk helicopters just hovering over his home as an act of intimidation. A staffer working for the Congress.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and he was providing a pipeline of legacy operators to basically talk to the Senate, the select Senate committee.
So I'm not blaming the staffers because these people are intimidated. They have families too.
Yeah.
And I don't think the public realize that this is how the game is being played. You've got a vast national security state, and it is truly a deep state protecting itself, its self-interest, misusing the resources of the state, your money, your taxpayer dollars, to essentially bully and intimidate, and in some cases murder people.
So scary, dude, that they do that stuff.
Really scary. I mean, I always joke about the black SUV showing up in the parking lot at work. And, I mean, that is a true fear I have because, I mean, helicopters, outside interviews. I mean, it's just crazy, man. Crazy stuff that our government gets up to. They really don't like you talking about this. And if you're in Kennedy and you're going in the back of a car, they'll shoot you in the head.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, no wait, that's not the lyrics. I'm trying to think of that one. The first song you did about the black vans coming.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the.
Yeah, it's in there. I mean, you put it in your lyrics too.
So whatever you do, don't read the comments on this because it's astroturfed to hell.
They hate. This has got to be one of the easiest claims ever. Yes, Black Hawk is exactly subtle. All right.
All the comments are like, oh, this is what I was talking about with earlier. I was saying, oh, he's got no proof. He's got no evidence. He's just saying stuff now.
I mean, he just agreed with him. He knows exactly who that staffer is. He said,
yeah.
I mean, just cherry picking. But Jesse's doing well. He even interviewed Dolan. Yes, was it yesterday? I saw it. It was
really?
good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which means Dolan might actually go on Rogan, because he watches Jesse.
How do we start pulling some of these big time interviews? Let's hard on the show.
Well, I mean, we're the researchers. We have to bring in we have to bring in these people. That's how Jesse did it. He brought in all these people slowly. You know, that's how he grew his channel. You have to bring in these people.
That's what we're doing. I can't wait to go on Rogan in about 10 years.
And Dolan did a great video couple days ago, 4 days ago.
Dolan always produces great content.
Yeah, like I didn't even know about this Lieutenant Colonel Ernie Kellerstrass, aka Hawk. Apparently he talked to Bruce Maccabee, which was a very famous UFO researcher, and there was some unpublished book, but he tells us who this guy was. He was in the Air Force, and he was talking to Maccabee, and he told him some crazy stuff. Oh, I just finished one of Donald Kehoe's books from the late 1950s, and it was at the beginning of the secrecy. Like there was still some leaks or transparency in the beginning when the U.S. Air Force first began. And he witnessed how they just started slowly clamping down, making it into a secret, doing disinformation, all that stuff. And that was so long ago. And he went through the exact same stuff everyone's going through now with Arrow, basically. It's the same tactics. It's so annoying.
Well, if there's one thing our government doesn't know how to do, it's you keep the same tactics, for years. Years.
Like look at the Iran thing, right? It was the exact playbook of the Iraq War, exactly down to the T. It was nuts.
It's pathetic. They can't change their. They do obviously change their tactics, but
right.
Once you see through the facade, it's all the exact same thing over and over and over and over.
Totally, and it's not working on a vast amount of population.
No, all the polls that have come out, even people who are like hardline MAGA are like, what are we doing in Iran? Why are we helping the Israelis or Israel?
This is not what we voted for. Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on Tucker.
She's been going off this past week.
Oh my God.
She's been going off this past week. She's about to get assassinated.
I know. Yeah, she better be careful. But she doesn't care. She's always been like that. She's always been she's always on the right side. Like during COVID, she was great during COVID, and she fought hard, for mask mandates and to get rid of them, and the jab mandates and all that. And now it's, this is very similar. All she cares about is she cares about this country and her family and her community. She's like, why are we just always focused overseas?
Well, you wouldn't know how good of a person she is if you just watch the news. I'll put it that way. They do not like her.
No, they don't, and they call her racist. They made fun of her in the beginning with the Jewish space lasers thing or something.
That still comes up. If you go on Reddit, anytime you bring up her, they always talk. The next comment will always be some jokes. I say joke, but it's Reddit. No one on Reddit has a brain, so they can't make a good joke. But the next comment is always about Jewish space lasers.
Hence why we call it Reddit brain.
Yeah.
All right, so let's listen to this.
Yeah, please.
Cool story. It's new. Well, new for me.
But Bruce Maccabee wrote an formerly unpublished book called Hawk Tales. It is available. There's a PDF download. I will provide a link for those of you who are interested in reading it. I highly recommend it. But basically, if you read that, you will see that Ernest Kellerstrass was no ordinary guy. He worked in military aerospace. He had deep ties to classified programs, and by all accounts was an insider with legitimate access. When he spoke to Maccabee, this is over more than a decade, phone calls, email, written correspondence, the whole thing. They were in touch for a very long time over this during the 1990s and into the early 2000s. He never publicly laid out these extraordinary claims. This is just something he spoke to quietly to Dr. Maccabee. And to be clear, Bruce took him seriously, very seriously. So according to Hawk, the U.S. government isn't just aware of a non-human presence. It's in contact with it. He told Maccabee flat out, aliens are here. They're operating a base in Nevada, and they're not nice guys. That was his phrase, not nice guys. He wasn't being cute about it. He was quite serious. This was not a benevolent contact scenario. Kellerstrass clearly believed this presence was being kept secret for a reason and not just to avoid panic. He also claimed that at some point the U.S. entered into an arrangement or some kind of understanding with this alien presence. He didn't give a lot of details, but the implication was clear. There's a deal in place, some kind of agreement that binds or at least limits what our own people can say or do.
Huh.
And he did not stop there. He said that he had personally witnessed a recovered alien craft being studied, something non-human, under close examination by military or intelligence personnel. And he did not elaborate on the technology or the circumstances, but it was enough for Bruce Maccabee to believe this was not secondhand gossip. This was a man recounting something he saw with his own eyes. Now, all of this was wrapped in extreme secrecy. Hawk, as his nickname was, this was a nickname that actually came to him through the group that was dubbed the Aviary by the researcher Bill Moore way back in the 1980s. Just to do a little refresher on this, the Aviary was never an actual organization. They didn't have their own minute notes or meeting notes or things like this.
Yeah, for those who don't know what the Aviary is, so I didn't know he was part of the Aviary. It was these guys who were, but the thing is, Bill Moore was part of it. Yeah, he just said that. I think Doty was part of it as well, and they each had like one was Eagle, and then I guess this guy was Hawk. So I didn't know he was part of that. And they would comment on documents that were released or something with comments, with written comments on those, and they'd each sign off. Like if this guy spoke, he'd say Hawk or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, so not benevolent, the species. We're in contact with them. There's an agreement. There are things we can't say, I guess, based on that agreement. So they obviously want to remain secret.
So is this hypothetically, is it the Greys?
I would think so. Yeah.
Because, apparently we have an agreement with
or the tall whites, maybe, because Nevada. He said, yeah.
That was the first one I was thinking of, was the tall whites. Nevada.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who wrote the book about
something Hall.
Yeah. It was Hall.
Yeah, something Hall. What are those books called? There's like 6 of them.
Man.
Millennial Hotel or something? No.
And it was something Range Harry or something. Yeah. He thought it was a horse. Man, that's such a fun. If I could remember what the hell I'm talking about. That's such a fun story. Richard Hall.
But everyone was scared of these beings. And for some reason he wasn't. I mean, he was. He puked many times and he was really freaked out. But
have we covered that? We should do it.
Yeah.
Do we do
okay? No, we have not done a deep dive. We could do that. Richard Hall.
Really Range, is it Range 4 Harry or something? But yeah, this guy Hall, I think his first name was Richard. Is it Richard Hall? I don't think that doesn't sound right. He was sent out into the desert to do tests about the wind and stuff, and his partner at the time was weather. Yeah, he was like, don't just make up stuff, because don't go out there. It's really freaky out there. Don't go out there. But he was such a he was such a nerd. He was like, oh, I have to go do this, and he went out there and made contact with the tall whites. And
here it is. It's a Millennial Hospitality by Charles Hall.
Charles H. Hall.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a really fun story that we should do a deep dive on.
And so his books came out before Google Earth did. And I remember seeing this, right?
That was the whole thing. He talked about all this crazy shit, and he talked about where he was and the different things that he saw. And then when people went because he wrote this in like the 70s or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And then when Google Earth was invented, people were like did the the satellite view of where he said he was, and they found all the stuff he was talking about. So there's even as insane as that story is, and he pukes a lot in that book.
And he did interviews with Larry King, I remember, and online morning shows. Right.
I mean, there is some sort of truth to those books.
Yeah.
Or to his story. You know, I haven't read the book or anything, but I've heard his story detailed on a couple different podcasts, and it's always a look at this ding dong saying these things,
No,
kind of
man.
joke thing, but he clearly saw something out there.
Oh yeah, and he even said that the U.S. government was, or at least the U.S. or parts of the U.S. government were manufacturing parts for their spaceships, like their seats or something like that. So
yeah, I think that was the whole point of the thing. They had crashed out there, and they had an agreement with the U.S. government to repair their craft in exchange for technology.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's what this guy is talking about. And, you know, so not nice, base in Nevada, agreement. So it's probably the tall whites, not really the grays. Fascinating.
Man, now I just want to keep talking about the tall whites. That's such a fun story. There's so much. We really need to do a deep dive.
Okay. All right. Let's remember it. Let's remember it.
Write down.
And then, this is Hal Puthoff.
Oh, I thought that was Beatles. Yeah, look,
there's
Paul. There's Ringo.
Oh, Bill Ray. Is it Bill Ray Inman? I mean, yeah, we do have the ufology Beatles. That'd be a funny video, actually. You know how Chupacabra has that?
Yeah.
Who would be the four?
Chupacabra's on point. Everything he puts out is quality.
I know, man. Such good taste in his AI videos. Like they're crisp, they're on point. Yeah, and the music's great.
It's so
just
good.
The whole feel of it. Yeah, he's really talented.
85. Another remote viewer. And I promise this will be the last remote viewing piece that I share here, but I think it's worth sharing. Named Bill Ray, Captain Bill Ray, conducted a session. Was with the military under Skip Atwater, very famous. So this was done in 1985, and they targeted an event, turned out to be from 1981 in the Gulf of San Matias off the coast of Argentina. And there's a link for this, which I will leave below for you. I would encourage you, go check it out. What he described was quite chilling. This is a hovering craft. It was metallic, and this cold metallic hovering craft with beings aboard it. This is all a remote view he did. These were non-human beings, very organized, very clinical. He saw people being taken, and maybe most disturbing, he perceived something under the water. This is not just a crashed craft. It was something almost living, like a structure, a presence. It was sensitive. It was intentional, something tied to life systems in the ocean, maybe a base. That's really what it makes me think of, but not just any kind of base. So there's that. Now, let me say this. I'm not asking anyone to take remote viewing as gospel. It is not conventional evidence. I understand that. It's psychic perception. But it is also part of a United States government-funded program that ran for decades. So even if you're skeptical, and I get it, it's at least worth considering, especially when these stories echo other sources and larger patterns we've seen over time. Which brings us to some of the more legendary locations that have persisted in UFO lore for years. Places like Dulce, New Mexico. It's long rumored to house some kind of joint alien human.
We haven't done Dulce. I know we've always wanted to, and we keep forgetting, I think. But Dulce would be a good one because it links with deep underground military bases as well.
Yeah, Dulce is a lot of fun. But I just want to touch on remote viewing really quick. A lot of people kind of write it off as like fake.
I wouldn't.
100% fake and all this other stuff. The CIA spent millions of dollars using remote viewers to spy on the Soviet Union. And
well, they did it because they found out the Soviet Union was doing it. That's when it first happened.
Our government believed in it, and then if you do a deep dive on Ingo Swann, all the scary stuff he saw on Mars and the moon, but he was right about so many other things. That's what gave him credence.
Right.
He talked about Jupiter having a ring around it, and that wasn't discovered until like 20 years after he made that comment.
Right. No, I don't think it was 20 years, but it was shortly after, because we just sent Voyager, so they wanted him to remote view Jupiter before Voyager got there, and he said it was rings, and then got there, and it confirmed it, and they're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Ingersoll saw crazy stuff. I mean, who was that guy he worked for? What do they call him? He lived in DC in the down underground or something. I forget his name now.
Oh, Satan.
Huh?
Satan.
Not that guy. No, maybe he's right. He was right under him.
In the ground. Are you sure that's not who you're talking about?
Yeah. Why can't I remember his name? Oh man, it's right there. But
yeah, but I mean, like, man, the CIA really believed in and they probably still do in the woo-woo stuff.
Oh yeah, big time.
Despite what they make jokes about UFOs and aliens and all and ESP and all this other stuff. I mean, they have spent, countless amounts of dollars of your dollars, our dollars, my dollars, taxpayer money on trying to do these things that they make fun of.
Yeah, so, I mean, they studied consciousness, and they studied how to transcend your body and do out of body stuff, and I mean, they have research reports on this which are available. Anyone can read these, and how to go in different dimensions. So yes, they've always been very interested in that.
So anytime, I guess my point of this, anytime you hear something that makes you roll your eyes and you're skeptical about, have an open mind and realize the reason that you're skeptical about it is because you've been brainwashed from a young age to believe that all of this stuff is kooky.
And try it. I've tried it and it works. It's crazy. It really is. Like, it's not that difficult to go find videos on how to do it, because the military actually put in processes and procedures of how to do it, for anyone to do it. And, yes, it might take practice, but some people are better than others, and you never know what you get. It's really surprising if you try it out.
Actually, one of the Y-File's most recent episodes, I think it wasn't this most recent one, the one before that, he was talking about how important meditation is, and your mind biologically can't understand the difference between a true memory and you like creating an image in your head of something happening,
right?
Which is, it's cool stuff, but I mean, it just goes to show that we're a lot more powerful than they will ever let us believe.
Yeah, especially the power of intention. That's really something else. If you tell yourself, the night before, I need to wake up at 6, you'll wake up at 6, or at least I do. I do without even an alarm. Yeah, if you just intend to. Yeah,
I have 4 alarms set for 6 o'clock, 6:10, 6:20, 6:30, and I always wake up before even the first one goes off.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah, but you're telling yourself to, or you're telling yourself that you're going to wake up at this time, right? The night before.
And we're not huge Trump fans here, but man, that guy, talk about, imagine yourself into a position of power.
Yeah, he does that.
He always does that. I mean,
he's a wizard.
Yeah.
There's
that's a whole nother avenue we can go down with his hand signs and everything else.
Yeah.
But whatever he says he's going to do, he ends up doing in some stupid way or another.
Yeah, I mean, where did I read? Like, he was trying to keep some language out of his sphere, something about the Iran thing. He just didn't even want people to talk about it. He's like, no, don't even say that. He just wanted to focus on the success of the project. People, I guess, were trying to maybe shoot holes through it or something like that. And he's like, no, don't even.
But it's even more than that. He was at a correspondence dinner where Obama made fun of him. And he goes, well, now I'm running for president and I'm going to be president. And he did. He did, for better or for worse.
He's a master at that.
He did. He got his mindset on something. He made fun of Hillary. He made fun of Biden. He made fun of Kamala. And here we are.
And Jeb Bush. That was great. Yeah. Yeah, he took them on.
He made fun of them all. And now they all worship him. They have to.
I mean, I just hate that, like, how all these never Trumpers like Mark Levin and even Rubio and even Ted Cruz, all these, they hate Trump, but now they're acting like he's like the best just because.
Right. But this is my point: if you believe something hard enough, it becomes real.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. It has to do. It's the placebo effect. Why do we test against it? Because it's real and powerful. If you believe this sugar pill is actually medicine and you're going to be cured, that's all that's needed.
Exactly. It's crazy. The
Yeah.
placebo effect is not something we talk about enough, but we really, as a society, need to start talking about it because so many people have been cured from illness and disease from nothing, from sugar pills. They were cured by believing they were cured, and their brain, their soul, whatever, transformed their bodies into becoming cured. That is wild stuff, man.
It is. And if you really know that, then you can change your life by just.
And this is why I believe this podcast is going to become one of the biggest in the world. And
hell yeah, brother.
We're going to be hanging out with Joe Rogan in Texas.
Smoking cigars.
We're going to have really famous people on the show all the time. And we're going to be great interviewers. And I believe that. So
I believe it too. Real. That's all that's needed. All that's needed.
So, what you have to do is you have to pretend it's already real.
Yes. Where's that? There's a book that was written in the 60s, and she won so many sweepstakes, and she gave a protocol of how to do it. Obviously, a lot of it's believing it, going and then and envisioning it, like actually really envisioning it in your mind. Like say a sweepstakes for a house. Being in that house, hanging out in that house, it is your house, right? But then also like anticipating the win. So anticipating that someone's going to call you or come to your house and tell you that you've won all these things. And she's I think it's from the 60s, but she's won so many sweepstakes. And she made a book, How to Do It. It was all belief,
stuff, man. Crazy stuff. We're going to have to learn, who the Diddy's and Epstein's are and avoid them. That's how big we'll be. We're going to be on the main stage, bro.
Avoid them. I don't know. They find out your weaknesses, dude. They'll figure. They know us more than we know ourselves. If it's sex, if it's power, if it's money, they'll try to use that.
This Topher guy really likes Nordic aliens.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't put it past him, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, so this guy is a ex-U.S. Air Force pilot, and he's telling some really crazy experiences he had in the Air Force. So this is the second one. I put it here because I think the first one wasn't too cool, but this one is really cool and bizarre.
Right up my alley. Perfect.
Is if something's not moving on your canopy, it means you're on a collision course with it. So immediately I thought I was on a collision course with something, and I kind of had this moment where I'm like, we're up at 30,000 feet. There shouldn't be anything else up here. What is happening? So a moment of like my eyes just kind of getting wider. I put my hand on the control stick. I'm about to turn off the autopilot. And then I realized we weren't going to hit it. And all of a sudden it came more into view, and it was a rectangle shape. This was like a essentially perfect rectangle shape. Maybe I would assume probably like 30 to 50 feet high. It was bright white along the outside edges, and it was like the outside edges were glowing. And then on the inside, it kind of got a little bit lighter colored, and it went all the way down to like a cream and then a clear center. So cream in the middle and then clear center. I know it sounds like I'm talking about like a delicious pastry, but literally this was the wildest experience I think I've ever had, because immediately I thought it might be a weather balloon. So I'm looking for a tether. There's no tether at all. And so then I'm thinking, am I imagining this? But it starts to get closer and closer off of our left-hand side. And it didn't do a breakneck speed thing. It didn't just fly past. It kind of went like a slower motion, which makes me think it was going the same direction as us and not being like a opposite direction, which would give it that breakneck line of sight where it just flies behind you. It definitely wasn't a plane. It wasn't a drone. There was no wings on this thing. There was no exhaust at all. And again, there was no tether, so it wasn't a balloon. And the edges, it was like they were so bright, they were pulsing. And I don't know if that's just an effect that my eyes had to kind of deal with how bright it was on the outside, but it came close enough where I could really see all the details of it. So bright white around the outside, kind of like a pulse. It's so bright. Transitioned to more of a cream color, so it wasn't as bright. Kind of in the inner, I would call it like the middle of it, the outer of the middle, and then in the center, it was like clear. Like I could almost see like just kind of clear sky through like a little hole, like air was passing through that hole. But again, we're at 30,000 feet. We're at 400 knots. And I don't know. It's like this thing's hanging with us. We don't get the breakneck speed past it. So it was obviously going really quick. But the crazy thing is, so there's no contrail. There's nothing on our weather radar, no static on the radio, and it's completely flat planed. So aerodynamically, this thing shouldn't be going close to 400 knots, right? I mean, if it was oriented down and it had a small sliver going through the slipstream, that would make more sense to me. But it really was defying any type of aeronautic laws that I've learned of. And for a rectangle to be like a barn door, just kind of flying through the air was a wild experience. So it zooms off of our left wing. So my training kicks in. The whole time I'm like dialed in on this thing, looking to see if it's moving towards us or if we're on a collision course. It wasn't. So we fly past it, check all the sensors of the aircraft. Nothing was off. Everything looked good. Didn't distort any of our electronics, nothing like that. And then since we're talking to air traffic control, I had to give a call to air traffic control. So I'll try to recreate what that call was. It sounded something like this. So I think we were close to Denver. We were actually southern Wyoming. So let's just say I was talking to Denver Center. Denver Center, I need to report something that I just saw. And they're like, okay, go ahead. A little bit like weirdness. They're like, what's this pilot smoking, basically? And I said, I just saw an object. It looked to be about 50 feet tall. It's a rectangle. I've never seen anything like this before. It was at our altitude at 30,000 feet. And I think you need to be aware of this in case any other jets pass through this sector of your airspace. And there was just like dead silence where the controller's like, I really don't know what to say. And then they asked, to their credit, they were like, can you describe it more? Like, what color was it? So that's when I started saying, the edges were bright white, cream in the middle, clear in the very middle. And other aircraft that were around us acknowledged, said they'd look for it. I never heard anything about it. I did see there was a report filed that showed like an anomalous object was spotted in that area around that time. I bet if there's like ATC comm back on that day, it'd be hilarious. Someone probably heard it if someone was kind of scanning the ATC radios. But yeah, this again, it was, to me, it was almost like just like a special experience, I guess. Very
Wow, could you imagine seeing a flying rectangle? He's like, he said a barn door.
That is great. I mean, that is high strangeness at its best. Where that is, yeah. How do you even describe that? Yeah, I'm seeing a flying rectangle. Man.
He said a barn door flying.
Yeah, exactly. It's the weirdest thing imaginable. Like,
right.
I don't know.
What's the point? What is the point?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just to mess with you.
Yeah,
But that being said, I think I found a new job I might want to do, and that's air traffic control, because I bet they get.
Oh, yeah, that's a good job, man.
I bet they get a lot of weird calls like that.
Yeah, and you get paid a lot of money. Well,
yeah, I don't know.
It's still very stressful. It's one of the most stressful jobs in the world.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know what kind of degree you need, but I'm assuming I don't have it.
Well, no, you do have to go through training, but they provide the training, I think. But yeah, I think it's probably a year of training, something like that, before going in.
So I've played Microsoft Flight Simulator on my Xbox. Does that count?
Do you ever do the tower? I guess, yeah. I mean, you do contact the tower when you're on the simulator, right? At least my brother plays.
Mostly that teaches you how to fly.
Right.
I don't know if that's necessary for working at the ATC or whatever, but
yeah,
anyway.
My brother told me that there's actually dedicated people who act like flight control guys.
Really?
Yeah, and he was friends with one of these guys, and they would simulate being the flight control while people are calling in, and they'll tell them where to go and shit like that.
I actually, I remember he was trying to be a pilot for a long time. He had a flight simulator way before it became a video game.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Yeah, he did. He spent a lot of money making the simulator.
There's a really fun thing close to us. Well, maybe we could go do that sometime. Maybe with your daughter. I think she'd actually like that. They put you in the like they've got all these, solo cockpits, and you take off and you fly around and you shoot each other.
I think it's called Fighter Town.
It's something like that. I don't think that's what it's called, but you have the general idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've been there. I remember doing it decades ago. So it might not be the same one, but they are real. They are real simulators.
Yes,
and then they have a real control tower in there.
Yes,
and yeah, it's a crazy. I'm sure it's much better now.
Our grandfather took me when I was about 16 or 17, I think.
Oh, okay, same. Yeah.
And then weirdly enough, at my current job, about 2 or 3 years in, we had a work event like close to the area, and a few of us were like, hey, I don't even know who brought it up. They're like, hey, there's this flight simulator thing we should go check out. Sure enough, I walk in, and it's the exact same place that Jiddo took us, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah, and they suit you up, right? You got to wear the suit. Yeah.
You got a flight suit on. You've got about 30 minutes of instruction from an actual
right. Yeah. You watch videos and
yeah. That was a lot of fun.
It's so cool, man. He's like an actual Top Gun guy giving you instruction, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. So this was happening too. A fireball seen falling across the sky in Carolinas in Georgia.
Oh, I should. Can you pause actually really quick? I have an idea.
Yeah, you can mention it, I guess.
Sure. So my idea, sorry folks for the pause. My idea didn't pan out. My mom had something very similar happen to her, as the title of this article suggests, just a couple days ago, and I was going to call her and put her on the air and have her describe her experience, but apparently,
put her on the spot.
Apparently, I'm not good enough for that. I went straight to voicemail.
It's all right. She must be really, really busy.
Oh yeah, sure. My semi-retired mom on a Sunday is super busy, I'm sure. She's hanging out with her friends, getting white girl wasted.
White girl wasted. So now there is some footage of this thing. But I saw a lot more footage. Here, fireball across southeast U.S. is not certain, but the satellite-based lightning detection shows a streak within cloud-free sky. Anyway,
okay, we'll start by the video here that our content partners in Atlanta posted, and you can see what might be this fireball.
Look to yes,
there it is,
right there to the left.
Yeah, we'll play that again.
Let's play that again. And again, this is actually dash camera video on 85 South.
Yeah.
I can't. Can you enlarge the video? I can't. I didn't see any of that.
Oh, this is large because they're watching a video and we're watching a video, so they haven't enlarged.
Can't put this full screen though. I thought I could do that.
No, this is full screen.
Huh?
Yeah, because they're watching it. You know what I mean?
There's not a.
They haven't enlarged it.
Right.
We're watching their show.
Is there not a button in the bottom right corner of the thing that'll allow you to? Oh, this isn't a Twitter thing. Okay, sorry. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. They're watching it on Twitter.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, I guess we could go to Cody Alcorn.
No, just play it.
Down in upstate South Carolina, so in the Greenville, Spartanburg area. So
which collaborates this other angle from South Carolina.
Okay, I just saw this video. Okay.
Whoa.
That's near Columbia.
That's near Columbia?
Yes.
Okay.
Road is Columbia.
Okay. Now, Nick, you were just talking about the lightning mapping data, and Charleston showed one imagery, but I'm going to pull this up real fast. Mm-hmm. It's a little wide. It's showing the whole United States, but based on the timestamp that those videos show us, about 12:25. If you look right over Atlanta, and I advance this one frame, you see there's a little bright flash. I know it's small on the screen, but it's kind of a greenish yellow. And then in the next frame, it's gone. Mm-hmm. I can't say for sure that that's what it is, but this satellite product looks for bright flashes in the sky, normally lightning, and the timestamp aligns with what the video shows. And also at this time, there were no thunderstorms in Atlanta. So I wonder if this is also a piece of collaborating evidence.
So we've gotten these reports from
all right, so something fell from the sky. It looks really big just seeing the distance from these videos. So is there no impact crater? Nothing blew up? Or is it just one of those things where if it's like a comet or a meteorite. I mean, it just burns up.
It breaks up in the sky. Just got an update from my mom. She's not getting white girl wasted. She is on the phone with her friends.
Okay.
So that takes precedence over her firstborn son. Yeah, Mom, I know you're listening like a week from now. Unreal.
Number one.
This is what family means now? Huh?
Especially your number one.
Yeah. Firstborn. Unbelievable. Doesn't want to be on the show because she's talking to her friends.
Did you text her back?
Yeah, I did. I told her she's a terrible mother.
No,
so what's this?
Not.
What do you got?
All right, so this was a UFO recorded over a storm in North Dakota, Harmon, North Dakota, which was just I think it happened a couple of days ago, and it reminds me of the one of the Utah drone. Remember that thing comes really fast?
Oh yeah.
Reminds me of that. Yeah,
I still kind of think that was
getting back to 94 to blast east.
Oh snap!
Yeah, right. It was very similar behavior.
Very similar.
Where it comes in slow and then boom.
And zoom.
Yeah.
Getting back to 94 to blast east.
Wonder if it looks the same. It's like Superman.
Yeah, I thought those were hands at first.
Oh, that thing's going fast, man.
That is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. This is an unidentified flying object, people.
Some people will say it's probably a bug for sure.
Yeah, I see that right there. That little thing, those little things that come in at the end.
His fingers.
Yeah, they're hands, right?
Yeah, they're hands. It's a reflection off the windshield. It looks like.
Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't wrong. I thought those were hands at first.
94 to blast east. Back to getting back to.
Yeah, very similar to what was that, Utah, Wyoming?
Yep, Utah.
Yeah, after watching that video countless times, I do think it's a bug, but it is really similar to the video you just showed us. So,
right
now I'm.
It's an oldie but a goodie from 1994 in Uruguay.
Hell yeah, Uruguay!
I'm sure you know this one.
I do, but I haven't watched it for quite some time. Oh man, see, I'm coming like full circle where I'm starting to think that vehicles like this are probably U.S. government made just to screw with us.
In Uruguay, though?
Yeah, why not? I don't know. Because you can see like where the tires on the bottom would be. Like you see that little lump. Yeah, you see.
Well, yeah, those are. What's his name? Who took the pictures?
It's landing gear.
No, it's the ball. It's for electricity. It's like capacitors. What's his name?
Like a Tesla coil or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be ours actually. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, why not South America, right? The U.S. government wants to test this out. It wants to see what kind of reaction it would get. It wouldn't do it over Europe. It wouldn't. I mean, Africa would probably be a good place too, but they would do it over, poor South America. It's close enough to home.
Uruguay is cool too. It's like a libertarian country.
Yeah, I have no problems with Uruguay. I don't know much about it, to be honest.
It's 98% Europeans.
Well, now I'm very against it. I don't like Europeans. I'm just kidding.
So it's that dome on top, and then, man, what is his damn name? I don't know why I'm blanking so much.
Dude,
today.
This is
the guy from the 50s.
We have microphone sickness. God forbid someone like if we were playing
Adamski.
Jeopardy.
Adamski, that's his name.
If we were playing Jeopardy or like at a trivia night, oh my God, forget about it. Too much pressure to remember a name. Well, this
might be fake. Yeah, it does look really cool, and the real clip doesn't start from here. Actually, it starts from way.
This is the surface of the moon. Do you want to read the title of the post?
Yeah, it's from but they took this clip from a much longer clip, which the guy actually zooms in on the moon. So this starts when it's already zoomed in. And
full video of the massive NHI ship on the moon coming out of the crater hole and shooting off into the dark. Could be Chinese. I doubt it.
You never know, man. They're pretty advanced these days. So there it is. Look at the shadows. The shadowing is what's crazy. The shadowing is
so weird.
Too perfect. It looks like an egg.
Very cool. I highly recommend everyone, all of our listeners, if you haven't already. I mean, God, I got to stop promoting another podcast. Yeah, it just zooms off. Go ahead and watch the Y-Files episode that AJ does. I think it's called "The Moon is Strange" or "Strange Things Happen on the Moon" or something like that, where he covers a lot of weird things that happen on the moon, including glowing lights. He covers a lot of stuff that has not been debunked or it has been scientifically proven. Like the moon has atmosphere in certain areas, the moon glows in certain areas, the craters don't act like craters, the moon is hollow because of the we smashed rockets into it and it rung like a bell for a certain amount of time. He goes into it talking about how he doesn't believe any of the moon conspiracies, and he walks out of it going like, there is so much stuff that I learned while researching this that makes me question everything about our moon.
The moon is 100% artificial. That's
yeah, sure. I'm kind of getting to that point too.
Yeah, it is. It's been placed there.
This is a really cool video. This was all over Reddit, and you found this on X, thankfully, because it would have been on Reddit.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff was deleted, unfortunately. So this was March 18th, 2024 in Hiratsuka, Japan.
Oh, Hiratsuka, Japan.
A silent disc-shaped object was observed transiting the moon, captured on film by Daiichi Fuji. Oh, his last name is Fuji. You got to be kidding me.
Fuji
of the Hiratsuka City Museum's astronomy department. This is really weird. It's just translucent.
Yeah, I mean, how do you explain this?
It's like just like a rubber band flying.
The U.S. government goes, I threw a frisbee too far, and that's what you're filming right now.
And it must be actually huge. Well,
Yeah,
no, I can't see the context of it.
No, I still think it'd be pretty massive.
Yeah, especially if it's from Earth.
Yeah,
to see it from Earth. There it is. Weird.
Very
It's a
weird.
huge smoke ring.
I don't know how you explain that one away. Well, the way you do it is by not addressing it and not talking.
Not
about
addressing it, or just saying it's an artifact of the camera.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, has anyone addressed this other than this video on X? No.
No, I haven't seen it.
No, CNN's
looks
not
like a hot
this.
staging ring from a rocket. Not sure which type, but see an example here.
Yeah, don't know.
I mean, what's that rocket doing? Or this? Oh, look, here's the original account. Translate post.
It's the same video.
Donut shaped. Are people saying?
Wait! Go back and finish reading that. That was important.
Yeah, I scanned it.
Sometimes a donut-shaped light like this passes by. This was captured on March 18th. This is not a UFO, but an insect or a bird illuminated by the moon. Since it's flying very close, it is out of focus and appear to be
all right. That would make sense, actually. Although it looks like it's floating and not flapping. Even if it's out of focus, you'd notice some... it actually doesn't look out of focus, though.
It doesn't. And I don't think birds, unless they're diving, which this one's not because it's climbing up.
Right.
They don't fly that smooth. You can, when they flap, their body moves.
Yep. This looks too fluid.
Well, thankfully, they circled it for us, so we know where to look.
And what's this one? Oh, here's the alien.
Oh, hell yeah. This is a crazy video. The internet is going nuts about this.
So I don't know. This is in Compton, California. Maybe it's some crack addict.
Well, see, that's the common thread that keeps coming up in all the comment sections I've seen about this. That's
the real psyop, because when 9/11 happened, the first thing I said was, "Oh, it's Bin Laden." We are preconditioned to say and to think these things when we go. So if I said that immediately, and you said you're seeing that everywhere too, we are preconditioned to say these.
Very
things.
True. Very true.
You know.
Okay, guys. we've got a piece of footage of what I can only describe as an alien-looking creature. So, guys, let's take a look at the footage, and then we'll have a real quick chat afterwards.
Whoa! Repeat. I can hear it.
Jamie, roll the
clip.
Walking? I can't hear anything. Well, I heard that. That was thunder.
Here's what I know about this footage. This was captured off of this.
There we go.
Oh, so you couldn't hear like the crunching? Like I heard crunching afterwards.
No,
Like, once it passes by.
Honestly, I thought my video feed had paused because you weren't talking and it was silent. I couldn't hear anything. And then I heard like the thunder crackle or whatever the hell that was.
I have my earphones on, so I heard it walking or whatever it is walking.
Ring doorbell camera at this lady's house on June the 6th, 2025. Just after 1 a.m.
Look at his head.
In the footage, we can see this alien-like creature. I mean, look at its head. It's a very weird shape. The size of the creature, I'm judging this at about 3 to 4 feet. And the color, this is looking like a bluey gray creature of the typical grays. Now, remember, there are two types of grays. There are the tall ones and there are the small ones. But what could this be?
Wrong.
Now, could this be somebody in an elaborate costume? Well, this would have to be a very small person. A child being out at 1 a.m. in the morning, that's kind of, I can't see that happening, but it's not out of the realms. But what do you think about this intrigue?
I mean, yeah, it's not crazy to say some kid put on a costume to do that, but
it is weird. But what I've gathered mostly from this video is Compton has greatly improved. I mean, this is a great looking front door. They've got the little welcome box outside. They have a Ring camera, so Compton is not as it's depicted in the movies anymore. Honestly, though, really creepy footage. I don't know what to make of this. This is, I mean, if this is a prank, then very elaborate prank. Good job, prankster.
Yeah, good job.
But on the other hand, this is really, really weird. And it does look like a short gray. I mean, it fits the T. And so I believe this was originally posted on Reddit. And the person that posted it said their other cameras malfunctioned at the same time as this one was filming this, because they had a couple other cameras, going at the same time, and it malfunctioned for a couple seconds.
Dear God, I want to take a minute. To ask for anything.
Look how nice that front entrance is with the welcome box there, and, little plants everywhere. Yeah, nice little neighborhood Compton is apparently. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. That is very strange. So cool.
This is a strange one too.
Yeah, actually, I meant to bring this up when we were talking about. I'm glad this is actually in the queue. In 1982, Soviet Navy divers participating in a training exercise in Lake Baikal reported encountering tall humanoid beings clad in silvery suits and strange unidentified submerged object. The divers described the beings as being roughly 3 meters tall and lacking visible oxygen tanks.
That's huge, 3 meters tall.
So I remember reading about this many years ago. I don't know how true this is.
There's no link to it, huh?
It's a really cool story regardless. I mean, this is even posted in Urban Myths. But I heard about this long before it was posted on Reddit. But apparently they tried to communicate with them and the aliens just ignored them.
Wow. So no link to the article or anything.
Yeah, of course not. This is Reddit after all.
But did they really have this around their faces?
No. This is some sort of stutid AI generated bullshit.
Yeah. Weird. The Soviets have cool stories.
They really do. I'm wondering how much of the UFO stuff that the Soviets encountered got passed on to the USA after the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah, I mean, George Knapp was one of the first guys to go over there when it fell, and he got a treasure trove of documents over to the U.S. He was scared, and we saw that clip. The FBI asked about that when they talked to Hastings about UFOs and nukes. They said, "Yeah, could you talk to Knapp?" And we were very interested in the files he got from the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Don't give it to them. Nap.
You'll never get it back.
Exactly.
Just like that silvery orb that family got in Kentucky or wherever the hell it was.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Kentucky.
They let the government look at it and they never got it back. They got a fake one back.
Right. British UFO hearings planned with MPs set to hear from alien whistleblowers. So now England's going to have their own congressional hearings or parliamentary hearings.
Boy, you all right, mate? Flying around all there in your UFOs. That was maybe kind of Australian.
No, not bad. The U.S. style hearings will allow RAF, Army, and Navy whistleblowers to tell all about experiences they have been previously banned from revealing under military non-disclosure rules and for fear of ridicule. Cool.
God, does every news article have to use AI to create their own photos now? I mean,
yeah,
God.
it's easy. It's easy.
Ugh.
It's easy, and then it's
Ugh.
something unique.
Sure.
And like it's better than like stock images,
Yeah, I guess.
Or so if you're not, I mean, they should have, a budget for graphic designers. But if you don't have the budget for that, it works. But yeah, I wouldn't. Why would the Daily Star use that?
Right.
They probably used AI to write this article then.
The UK's new UFO disclosure group has secured a meeting with a minister from the House of Lords. Oh my God.
Oh.
The UK is straight up Game of Thrones. They have a thing called the House of Lords.
Uh-huh.
The UK is a TV show. You can't convince me otherwise. Anyway, they set up a forum where alien whistleblowers can come forward with their evidence. The group was set up by documentary filmmaker Mark Christopher Lee to push for transparency on reported sightings of UFOs, aka unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Hey, that's the name of our show.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
As Daily Star revealed previously, a letter from the body calling for full disclosure was in the UK, was sent to Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, now an associate of the Brit leader, has arranged for a minister from the House of Lords to meet with Mark to put the first steps in place to create a select committee to hear evidence from UFO experiencers. Well, they're only about 60 years too late, but better late than never, I suppose.
Right. So we have no date yet. Hopefully this year then.
Boy, I was flying around in my plane, right? And I see this. No, I seriously cannot do European accent.
I mean, no, it sounded pretty close. I mean, it wasn't perfect. I don't think
it wasn't very good. I always flop between European and Australian, and I can't do
Australian.
Australian. Yeah, all right though, mate. See, I can't even do that properly.
I met an Australian guy when I was in university. And I'll tell him like, hey man, what do you drink Foster's? He's like, no. He goes,
no, they don't drink Foster's.
No, they don't.
God forbid you say grill on the Barbie or something, whatever the hell that stupid joke is.
Yeah.
When I was 17, I went to Australia. Actually, it was for World Youth Day. It was the Catholics get together and all the people have mass with the Pope. It was a really cool experience. But what I learned when I was there was Australians are super cool, man. They were really friendly to me.
Yeah,
they're
so
really
awesome.
friendly to all of us.
They're so much fun. I love Australians. I always had a great experience with them.
Also, I found out you can buy alcohol at 18 and they won't check your ID.
I'm sure they won't.
So that was fun too. So Steven Spielberg's new sci-fi movie, rumored to be titled Disclosure, right on the nose, it wrapped filming. It releases in June 2026, so we're a year out.
Yes, we are. And oh no, what's happening here? Oh great, my computer's doing that thing.
Oh no, everything. I was gonna say everything's normal on my end.
Yeah, of course. No, it's just one of my screens is doing it. Disable. Oh, that's why. Disable ad blocker. All right, so we won't do this one. So I was going to share an article where.
Whoa, hold on. We just
Spielberg. What?
Did we just uncover a whole new conspiracy? Your computer screws up if you have ad blocker on?
Well, that's what this screen is right here. Like if I share it, look. Help us need help, blah blah blah. So I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
But basically, this article was saying that Spielberg showed his first footage.
Oh, cool.
Of the movie to a group of people.
He has always been real big on UFOs and aliens, and
I mean, Taken is one of the best shows out there about this subject. I love Taken. I mean, it deals with like how the secrecy started, how insane they were about this secrecy, how it became integrated into our science and biotech and stuff like that. And it was always in the background in politics. Taken does a great job with that. How they followed the same people like genetically to do abductions, Yeah. So that was, of course, he's done Close Encounters, which is also great movie as well,
and E.T. I think, right?
E.T. Even AI, the movie AI has an alien element of it at the end.
Yep. That movie was so long though. Oh man.
What AI? Yeah, 3 hours or something.
Yeah, I think I've seen it like once or twice, but I didn't like it because I just felt like it was dragging the entire. I was just like, get to the point. Post.
Yeah.
Schizo post on Reddit.
The second one's gone, by the way.
Oh yeah, I figured. So this schizo on Reddit, and when I say schizo, I say that in full love.
Absolutely.
It's just kind of an inside joke for me, inside joke for one person, me. But this guy has this whole post on Reddit. I don't want to read this whole. It's not that long. The reason why things feel weird right now. Some of you guys are not going to believe this, but screw it. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, and whoever resonates with this message will completely understand. Things feel weird because CERN is converging timelines. They understand that in this timeline, the Earth is increasing in frequency, and soon all of the low vibrational beings will cease to exist. To combat this, they want to converge our timeline with a timeline where we remain low in frequency so that they can stay. They have to show us what they are doing for consent or approval. That is why we even know about CERN in the first place. Trust me, they could have just left the whole CERN experiment a secret and no one would have known about it. Actually, I believe that part.
Yeah.
This is why time feels weird. Things we once knew are changing. Our dreams are more vivid. Some people are tired and sleeping more. Our reality feels like we are in a TV show. The timeline they are trying to converge us with is one where AI takes over and we live every day in survival mode, fear and worry, like the movie Terminator, which keeps the Earth in a constant low frequency. They are not capable of raising their frequency like we are because they are not connected to the source. In order to not let this happen, we need to not give energy or consent to the things they want us to dwell on: fear, worry, anger, war, conquering, etc. We must begin to give energy to sharing, collaboration, unity, authenticity, etc. If you think I am crazy, then you are right, and you can run along without needing to leave a nasty comment. But I know there are people who feel that what I am saying is true, and those are the people I made this post for. So to those people, I implore you to take this seriously and share it among people who will also understand. Our thoughts make our reality. Do not let them control our thoughts to make their reality come true.
Yeah, I mean, that's how powerful the media is too. It's used for that, because they know the power of us intending and believing things, because then it creates their reality.
I don't know about CERN converging timelines, but a lot of this post is 100% accurate. They do want us to feel fear and anger and anxiousness and all this other stuff, where we should be feeling community and we want to share with each other and be happy and loving.
But this commenter, he's 100% right also, because it is about the phones, and we're always on these devices, we're always on social media, we're taking in all this news that we're not meant to handle. We're not meant to handle everything across the world, all these atrocities happening, coming on our feeds. We can't do anything about them, so you feel helpless and you feel scared and you feel, blackpilled, and it has a lot to do with the phones, unfortunately, and social media, which we're all guilty of being on and addicted to.
100%. 100%. I mean, I learned, from a very midway through college, one of my roommates was like, "You always have to be plugged in, don't you?" And I was like, "Wow, damn." But he was absolutely right, because
Yeah.
I'm either always listening to a podcast or a book or music, or I'm watching TV or playing video games or whatever. But I am always plugged in. It's true. And because if you stop to linger with your thoughts, you get down, and everything is meant to distract you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm plugged in as well, and it's also part of our work, our job or whatever. My job is.
Yeah, I mean,
I have to be part of it. Unfortunately, I can't. I would love to just quit social media, but
thankfully, I'm not on there anymore. But I am for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, sitting in front of a computer, typing away. But I also am listening to podcasts and audiobooks and music.
Exactly. Yeah, me too. While I'm working, if I'm doing something mundane or doesn't require any thinking or writing, then I'm always listening to something.
That's very true. Every time I have to write an email, I pause whatever I'm listening to.
Yeah, me too. I can't.
But when I am doing the mundane stuff, I'm just like, oh, I can do.
What can I listen to?
Yeah, seriously. I gotta find a new podcast. I gotta listen to a new audiobook.
So Peter Thiel had an interview on what's the name of the guy? Anyway, this post says Peter Thiel is asked why he's not the Antichrist he warns about. Wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, I really like what Palantir is doing. The panic is evident. There are those, he's also quoting, there are these different scenarios. Obviously, I don't think that's what I'm doing. Okay, Satan. Now, Peter Thiel has funded Facebook, right? He's an investor in Facebook. He's an investor in Palantir. A lot of his technology, he's one of the PayPal mafia. He's building the infrastructure for an Antichrist to come along and say, "Oh, thanks. This is perfect. Now I can take over the world." And he's warning about the Antichrist. So that's what this guy asks him. And as per usual, Thiel can never answer the question without sweating. And
of course not. Look at him. He looks like a tall gray.
Yeah, he does.
This is my very specific question for you, right? Is that you're an investor in AI. You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world, I feel like that Antichrist would be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right?
Yeah,
isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history? Would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you.
Oh, I believe that's what he's doing. We've talked about this on the show as well, is that, they want that third temple, and there is going to be their Messiah or the Antichrist, taking the throne in the third temple. And he's going to be an human AI hybrid connected to all these systems. And he's going to do miracles by just thought alone,
I can't wait to vote for Mr. Terminator for president.
Mr. Terminator.
That'll be really, really fun for all of us as humankind.
Well, if Greater Israel happens and they become the next ruling empire in the world, we'll just be like a part of that. Like, it'll be part of the UN. Like, we won't be the superpower anymore.
You mean like now?
Huh?
You mean like now? Like we already are?
2030, I would say. 2030. I mean, the big war has to happen first, right? Before, yeah, I mean, and basically nuclear holocaust has to happen first.
How fun.
I know, lots of fun. So yes, and you are, Mr. Thiel, building the infrastructure for them. I mean, let's not forget Palantir was used in Gaza, where 36,000 targets were chosen by Palantir to say that they are suspected Hamas members, and they were killed with their apartment buildings. So they're doing it. Don't think it won't happen here. Just send a drone over.
there's this really fun thing about the U.S. government about the separation of church and state. We need to start talking about the separation of business and state.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like a theocracy. Like these Christian Zionists who are in there just worshiping Israel, just constantly talking about the Bible and biblical prophecy, and like, what the hell are they? How are these representatives? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. One of the things, I don't know if it's in the queue, is we should talk about the New York City governor race.
Oh yeah, we have it. Oh damn, we're at 2 hours. All right, let's quickly go through these.
My God, I was gonna bring this up, and I was like, no, this is too much of a deep cut. No, this is great. This is Greater Israel. When you said that, I was like,
well, no. So this is heavenly Jerusalem. This is Ukraine. So they have a plan for Ukraine as well.
No, this is don't get me wrong. The thing says heavenly Jerusalem, but this is Greater Israel.
It's part of it, yeah. But this is they want Ukraine to be part of that,
right?
And
exactly.
Yeah. And so this man is named Igor Berkut, a citizen of Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. He's the architect of a plan called the Heavenly Jerusalem Project, which plans to establish a second Jewish state in the Ukraine, which he refers to as Khazaria 2.0. And there's the map behind him. He's presenting here how he wants Ukraine to be like and even Zelensky, he said they want to make Ukraine a bigger Israel.
Yeah. Shocker.
He claims Jews arrived in the Ukraine in 2017 to begin to establish their heavenly Jerusalem on earth. Oh, surprise, surprise, while we're at war there, huh?
I know, right? It's just like if you stop listening to the news and you start looking at the facts, you'll understand there's always a common cause behind all of these conflicts on the planet.
And look at this one. I like this one. Enormous money and decisive breakthrough technologies for the heavenly Jerusalem will be given by the largest banking houses and the world's multinational companies, most of which, as is well known, are owned by Jews. So, largest banking houses, breakthrough technologies.
Didn't BlackRock just get a huge contract over there in Ukraine?
Yes, to rebuild.
That's weird. Who are some of the top people at BlackRock?
I don't know, but they're part of a certain demographic.
Funny hat group.
So there's that, and that's how you'll know what is going on in Ukraine and why we keep funding it, just like we keep funding Israel. So now, that's our job, I guess, as this country.
We got to give money to our owners. That's the way it works, right?
Yeah. So this is a great thread. I'm gonna link it in the show notes so you guys can go through it.
Oh, we are so getting assassinated if this podcast blows up like it should.
Well, we did the show last week about the Iran-Iraq thing, and Trump was able to stop it, right?
But he was
tried to.
He was really frustrated here, which actually, I think this quote is going to live for a very long time.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with Israel or Iran, obviously, but he has to just say that.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Wow, he's so mad.
He was pissed because if you remember the timeline. I mean, this all happened so quick, and because of the world we live in, this feels like a year ago. But
exactly.
He had brokered a ceasefire between the two countries, and immediately after, it was broken, and he was really pissed off about it. Obviously, as you could tell there.
And the Israelis weren't happy that he stopped them from going to war. And, they don't want peace. They didn't want peace. They were forced into doing the ceasefire, and they were upset. Obviously, like things.
Well, and one thing that we keep seeing continuously over the years, whether it's the Palestinian conflict or it's name any other conflict that Israel has been in over the last 100 years.
Oh, I mean, we did Iraq for them, Libya, Syria, all those. That's all for them.
They don't want peace. And if you look at their people and what their people are saying, it just goes to show what we're spending our tax dollars for, as in this tweet right here from this guy. I'm not even going to say his name, it's not worth it, but all of these there are so many examples of this. These Israelis, Zionists, who they want to take over the world. I mean, there's no other way to put it. This guy,
and they want us to do it on their behalf for them.
This guy on X says one symbolic bomb. He's Israeli, if you haven't figured it out yet. One symbolic bomb in Washington will remind Trump that he is not omnipotent, and he will restore our national honor.
Oh,
so
God.
They're threatening.
There was an explosion in DC today, by the way.
Was there? I haven't.
Yeah.
checked the news. Good God.
Yeah. And look, this is not any better.
If we nuke America, we could reach our destiny of ruling the world. And that's an Israeli Jewish person saying that.
If we suddenly decide to drop 400 to 500 atomic bombs on them at once, they're talking about us, you guys.
Them is us. When he says drop atomic bombs on them, the them is United States.
We've spent so much money and blood supporting them. Like this is what we get. It could be that we'll rule the world. It could be that we'll reach our destiny. That will be a light unto the nations. That women will dance in the vineyards. They'll break into dances. We'll build the temple. There we go. We'll offer sacrifices. Maybe that's how it should be.
So listen, if you are listening and you live in a big city and you see some Hasidic Jews on a rooftop that are dancing, run. Run away as fast as you can, because there is about a huge event about to happen that's going to be blamed on the Iranians.
And look what our representatives do. So Trump's State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says America is, quote, the greatest country on earth next to Israel.
Oh, God, it makes me sick just hearing that.
I mean,
the pride of being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people, and in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel.
Oh my God!
It is. It's an honor to be able to make a difference and to be able to speak in this regard with an administration that I love so much, and that I feel genuinely represented by. It's a real honor.
Or paid
and
by.
in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel.
You can't make that up.
There are two people on this planet, two types of people that I wish death upon.
Such traitors.
One, politicians. Two, journalists. That's
For
it.
me, it's just, if you're a traitor, you're my enemy. I mean, when you talk like this, like, what the hell? She's, I mean, fine. Rubio's the head of the State Department, and he's a huge Zionist, so of course he's going to appoint her. But to sit there in front of the whole world, and you're representing the United States, and then you say, I'm so proud that I'm representing the greatest country in the world next to Israel, then you don't belong in our government.
It's the cuck mentality. That's
so
what it is.
Disgusting, man.
It is disgusting. It's truly disgusting.
And look, they want it, and the Trump is trying to get rid of Massey, right? They're trying to primary him
because Massey's the one person that isn't funded by the Israeli government,
right? And will go on podcasts and tell us exactly what's going on.
Two kinds of lobbying groups. There's access lobbying. That's where they're all your friends. They're never mean to you. Even if they don't like you, they'll buy you a steak dinner, and they'll try to get you to hear out their point of view. And they figure, as long as I can get in that person's office, I'm doing well for the people I'm lobbying for.
Okay.
But then there are confrontational lobbyists like AIPAC, and AIPAC has transitioned into a confrontational lobbying group where if you don't do what they want, they come after you.
Wow. What does it look like?
They spent $400,000 against me in my last election. And they are basically advertise themselves as just all things Israel. They are lobbying for more money to go to Israel.
Do you feel like Israel is a fair ally? Are they a good ally for us?
Well,
Or is that too general of a question?
Well, I think it doesn't matter. Like, there's no big giant Great Britain lobby. There's no Australian lobby. There's no German lobby.
Oh, the other countries don't have them.
No, not like this. This is singular. This is unique. I mean, if you're an ally, why wouldn't we work with you? Why do you have to convince us that you're our ally? Why do you have to basically go into every congressional office and convince them? And it's because they want to keep the money flowing. And they've got a good return on their investment. I mean, we send more foreign aid to Israel than to any other country.
Yeah.
They're, like 10 million people or something.
Yeah, I think
Tennessee, I don't know the population in Tennessee, but it's probably about, on that order.
Yeah, I think this year they said we spent like $12 billion, but that's not actual dollars. It's in military aid, right?
Yeah, it's it's dollars
like
that comes out of the treasury. Stuff? Yeah. But it's not like we give them, it's a gift certificate that's redeemable at Lockheed Martin and your local Raytheon,
Okay, got it. So that's kind of how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Why do they have this carve out that's just for them? Like what do we get from Israel, do you feel like?
We got a lot of countries that hate us. That's one of the things we get.
Well, especially right now with this stuff in Gaza, I think it's one of the worst PR campaigns I've ever seen in my life. If they're even, doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, I just don't, it gives their government this extremely evil look to me, and I think to a lot of people,
Well, rough numbers, there are 2 million people in Gaza and 50,000 have been killed. That's 2.5%. Like, they've killed 1 in 40 people in Gaza. If you did that in the United States, if you did 2.5% of 350 million, it'd be almost 10 million people dead in the United States. Everybody in Gaza is at this point related to somebody who's been killed. Like, at least a first cousin you had killed. And then if you say how many have been maimed, it's probably 3 or 4 times that. So everybody in Gaza knows people who've been killed and maimed,
and we're supporting it, right? That's also the part that makes it really tough sometimes to just be a person. It's like our tax money is going towards this, but I just hope that people in some of these other countries know that, it's not regular everyday people who would want to do these things, that it's like governments making these choices and it's corporate interests that make these choices. How would we stop it? Well, do we need this connection with Israel? What is it? No one ever explains what it's for, I feel like, right? That would help everybody have a much better understanding, because it starts to feel like America is just a shell company, an LLC for Israel. That's what it starts to feel like a lot of times, Do you feel like that's realistic, or do you feel like that's off base?
I wouldn't send them a dime.
Yeah.
Like, that's my position. I don't think whatever we're getting isn't worth it. And don't ask me to articulate the benefit, because I think the cost is greater than the benefit. Everybody in Gaza is at this point has to hate Israel, right? And by extension, those bombs, when they see American politicians go over there and like sign the freaking bombs that are going to kill women and children.
Oh, so I love that they're talking about this, I really
absolutely.
do, but it's just when you just see Theo Von, he's like having real issues. And of course, what did we do? Actually, this guy killed and crucified a Christian pastor, right? Talking about the Old Testament, right? And he got caught. He did that, and he had 14 or something on his hit list, and he was going to kill the second guy, and he got caught. Of course, he has Hebrew all over his neck. He said he wanted to kill these pastors for preaching false prophets or whatever. So what does DHS do? It gives a huge grant to Jewish faith-based organizations, not Christian ones. $94 million in grants awarded to Jewish faith-based organizations to prevent violence and terrorism.
They didn't have enough of our money,
right? If it's not coming out of the treasury, it's coming out of this. I mean, they get it any way possible. It's insane, dude. It's so insane. While we're so bankrupt.
What a shame. What a shame this is.
I know you sent me this as well.
So this is in the wake of I don't remember his name. The guy
Mamdani.
He's not even mayor yet, but he is on the ballot now. He beat Cuomo.
Yeah, Cuomo. He beat Cuomo.
Whatever.
Who had huge billionaires behind him. But actually, this is a good video from Syrian girl. Mamdani.
Should we go back and read that just so we can get into the mentality of these people? Is it over the golden door for Jews in America? I have never ever felt living fear. I have never ever felt fear living as a Jew in the U.S. But tonight, knowing that a man who trumpets his desire to murder Jews,
Oh my God, nope,
has been elected mayor of the most Jewish city in the U.S., all on impossible socialist promises that will destroy the city. I fear for the future of Jews in the NYC and the U.S. I mean,
God,
this is the mindset they have. Perpetually the victim.
So dramatic. And look at this lady; she's screaming at him.
Great video. This is more of that mindset.
Yep.
Military election because we do not support Israel enough.
After pledging to stay and serve New Yorkers instead of flying off to kiss the wall in Israel.
Where would you go first?
I would visit the Holy Land.
I would go to Israel.
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel. Take my first trip to Israel.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Zionists lost their minds over Mamdani. Now the young mayoral candidate faces Zionist threats of political retaliation, not because of his economic or social policies, but because he dared to say out loud that his loyalty is to America, not to the foreign state of Israel. What do you make of Zionists threatening an American politician for the crime of being loyal to America?
You know they want to deport him. They're trying to find a loophole. They're trying to take his citizenship away.
Yeah, I saw that. They are really. I mean, he is a socialist, and his policies will never
work.
His
policies. Right?
I don't like his policies, but the fact that he's anti-Israel is not a reason to deport the guy. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is where we're at now. This is why you and I are going to get black bagged. I'm telling you.
They're the woke right, you know. They tried putting the label of woke right on people on the right that criticize Israel. No, it's the ones who ask for censorship, for smearing, for all that because of criticizing Israel. Those are the woke rights. You're talking about Levin, Loomer, all these people. Of course, Ben Shapiro. So they found OxyContin in flour in the flour bags and rice bags in Gaza.
Yeah, this is just if you weren't depressed enough about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, you have even more of a reason to be depressed now. And you're welcome for that.
Israel is now being accused of drugging the population of Gaza because when they started opening bags of flour that has been distributed to Palestinians by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is funded and controlled by the US and Israel, they found pills inside of it. And they thought they would test the pills, and they found out it was oxycodone. And you would probably think that maybe somebody's just trying to smuggle things into Gaza. But then they tested the flour and found out that the pills were crushed up into the flour. This is not a joke. This has been tested by a pharmacist and a doctor. And if Israel want to accuse anybody of lying about this, saying maybe it's just propaganda that Hamas are trying to come up with, well, why don't you let journalists into Gaza? Why don't you let people independently report on this or test this to see if these are lies? If this is true, this is a war crime beyond belief in so many different ways. Oxycodone is responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths just in America. It is such a potent and strong opioid that something like this used against a population hidden in their food is beyond anything that I could have thought of that they would do. I still somehow find myself shocked. I see reports of videos of things happening, and I have unfortunately become almost numb to that in a way. Nothing shocks me anymore, but this is something that I couldn't have imagined.
Well, of course, TikTok is going to be sold now to the same people. So we're not going to see that stuff. We're not going to see that stuff coming out of TikTok anymore.
Nope. Funny how all that works, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
What's the saying that I brought up last week or the week before is if you want to know who's in charge, just know who you can't criticize.
Yep, exactly. If you want to know who's in charge, if you want to know who rules over you, look at who you can't criticize, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Candace is great. She has been like a dark horse candidate from the right, which is like dark horse candidate for best spokesperson. Everything she says, everything that comes out of her mouth is just great.
Yeah,
she knows. She's obviously very smart. She's well spoken and knows what she's talking about. And we love her to death over here.
Yeah, and she puts Pierce Morgan in his place. The guy loves interrupting people and talking over them, and she doesn't let him do it here.
Terrorism in the Middle East through the Houthis, through Hezbollah, through Hamas. I mean, that's widely accepted and recognized. They've done
it widely accepted. Now, that's just kind of
really. You don't think they have?
Has been a terrorist state. Okay, Israel right now is imparting a genocide and a Holocaust on the Gazan people. So I'm really over this idea like somehow Israel has the moral high ground and we have to get behind them.
I didn't say
because
that.
We got to go after the bad guys.
I wasn't saying that.
But we have.
Oh, hang on. Look, we can come to Gaza where I think we'll reach agreement about what Israel's government's been doing there in the last few months.
But it's relevant. If you're going to call Iranians terrorists, if they right now had an open concentration camp where they were mass killing their own people, we would all be saying this is ridiculous. So it's rich to me that people are concerned about Iran having nukes. But I'm concerned about Israel, who won't even admit that they have nukes, having nukes, while at the same time they are executing a genocide and a Holocaust in Gaza that the world is watching. So who's the bigger terrorist is the question today. I would say as an American that if we're going to get behind a regime change, it should be in Israel first. So that would be my position. I think the position of a lot of people who are waking up to the fact that Zionism has brought us nothing but grief in America. Can you name one positive thing that Zionists have contributed to America? That us fighting these perpetual wars on behalf of Zionism has contributed to America?
Oh, dude, she's so great.
Get him, Candace. Get him.
Get him. She's so good. And then we have this, that the World Council of Churches calls for sanctions against Israel. In a landmark announcement, the WCC's Central Committee calls for targeted sanctions, divestment, and arms embargoes. Now, no one's.
Oh, you mean anti-Semitism? They're anti-Semites.
Right. It's anti-Semitic tropes.
The Jews have a word for us too, right? Like they call anyone who's not, of the faith, they call them goy.
Goyim, yeah, goys.
Goyims.
Yes,
and
goy.
They can openly use that against people who are not Semites, but God forbid you criticize Israel as a nation, not as a people.
I know and that's why they try to conflate the two, because they want you to say if you criticize Israel, you're criticizing Judaism when you're not. It's a secular government.
Yeah,
doing government stuff, evil stuff.
Yeah, speaking of evil stuff, this article came out from Hertz, which is crazy because that's an Israeli-backed newspaper.
Yep. Yes, they're leftist.
The title of the article is this. It's a killing field. IDF soldiers ordered to shoot deliberately at unarmed Gazans waiting for humanitarian aid.
This is happening daily, by the way, and it's like hundreds of people a day.
It's been happening for a very long time.
Yeah, but why would they? Who put them in charge of the aid? Why would we accept that? These guys are criminals, and that's what they're doing. They're just funneling them into these checkpoints or whatever to give them food and aid, but then they're shooting them.
Yeah. I mean, it's nuts. It's and then people go, oh, how can you dislike Israel? How can you, dislike the Israeli government? And it's like, it's stuff like this. Like even their own people, their own government-backed newspapers reporting on this. It's insane.
Yeah, Haaretz would. Even they have institutions in Israel who call this a genocide. They're themselves.
That's how far they've gone.
I mean, some reports are saying over 400,000 people might be gone.
Yeah, it's just absolutely nuts, man.
So this is nice to see, though. It's in the U.S.
I hadn't seen this one yet. I wonder if I could get away with that at work.
I don't know. California is kind of chill, I think. Stuff,
I don't think at your job you're supposed to have that strong of a political opinion.
Okay, maybe not work.
Yeah.
All right, so we're pretty much done. We have some. That was a little bit of comedy there, and then we have this guy we've played before.
Is this the singing guy?
Yeah,
yeah, man. I keep coming across his videos every single time I'm on YouTube. He's so clever, man.
Yeah, this is a funny one.
Oh, my motherfucking friends hate your bitches. And they're right. This ain't talking shit, no, that's just the facts. You can't fight it. You're a bitch.
Oh, brilliant, man. He's so funny, that face.
What actually more than just his singing and his performances, like he knows like how to act.
Yeah. He's great
all
actor.
the stuff like where he's superimposed, like even that shot right there, you've got paused, like he's got his face in the corner, like singing, but also him looking directly. He's very clever. He's very smart. He's a cinematographer for sure.
Yeah. He's definitely taken courses on how to do
I don't know if
cinematography.
he's taking courses.
Or learned it. Yeah.
I wouldn't be taking courses from anyone in Hollywood at this point. Okay, so now the camera's over here and you're raping this little kid, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to your producer, you're going to give him $100 to look the other way, and then you go on an apology tour at the end of the month.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure that's how acting classes go in Hollywood.
Go on an apology tour. They all do that. So funny. So a lot going on this week, man.
A lot going on.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
In Topher's Media Corner, I rewatched From on Friday night. Not From, I'm sorry.
The Firm?
Nope.
Oh no, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, I rewatched it on Friday night. So good. That was what put me in the mood to go out and look at stars. Did I tell the story was that on the show or was that before the show?
Yeah. You said you said on the show. I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I didn't see any aliens, but I did see a lot of very drunk women yelling at each other, which was also kind of like aliens.
Right. That's very down to earth.
Sure. Yeah, it's about as down to earth as you can get. I also came across this show that I know you would like on Apple Plus called Murderbot.
Oh yeah, I started watching it. I think I'm still giving it a chance. I'm still not completely there yet. Okay. I like the plot. I like where it's going. I haven't been like, oh, this thing is awesome. I like the actor as well.
I'm
cool.
I'm caught. There's only like 8 episodes out right now, but it's the type of show that's right up my alley, where it's like it's weird, it's kind of dumb, but it's funny and it's violent.
Yeah. I like that he hacked himself. It's cool, and his narrative is cool as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get to hear his thoughts, and like he's like, oh my god, you people are so stupid. Why am I protecting you? Like it's so
right.
Yeah, that's right up my alley. Anyway.
Apple Plus has good shows, man.
Dude, they love sci-fi. My favorite book series of all time that I've talked about on the show before, that I haven't talked about for a while, so it's good to plug it now, is Dungeon Crawler Carl, about a guy and his cat who are fighting aliens. And they picked up the series of books, and they're going to make it into a TV show, and I really hope it's on Apple Plus.
Really,
dude, you should read these books. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, and it's dramatic, and it's fun, and it's sad at times. It's really good. I mean, it's about a guy and a cat fighting aliens. It's great.
That's hilarious and ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Is
it a huge cat or a small cat?
It's I can't remember the Vini. It looks like Vini, kind of.
Oh, okay. Himalayan. They call it Himalayan.
Yeah, but it's a tortoiseshell. Is that the right word? It's a big. It's not a big cat, but it's got a big hair. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, cool. I think that was a good episode. Thank you all for listening. You guys need to share our clips more, or just share our episodes more.
Just tell a friend about the show.
Yeah, exactly. Support us. We have a support link under each episode, and the podcast. Our handle is UAP the podcast on X. I'm at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is at Topher at all. So you guys can always link up with us there, interact with us, give us ideas, give us feedback, let us know how we're doing. All that jazz.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, tell a friend about the show, share the show. You know, I am envisioning it in my head right now, us being on Joe Rogan.
Well, 10 years he'll be in his, how old is he now? He'll be in his 60s.
Yeah,
but
he's the type of guy that records until he dies.
Yeah, and plus he looks great for his age. He works out, he eats well. The guy will live for, knock on wood, for a long time.
Plus he's Rogan. He's going to be on a bunch of experimental shit that he promotes on his show, and he's going to live to be 160 while CNN continues to make fun of him.
Right.
I mean, he's going to live out of spite. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to get huge. I'm putting that out into the universe as you and our little pictures here float through the universe.
Right.
I want this show to get big so we can do this full time. I don't want to go to work anymore. I want to sit in a producing studio with you, just research alien shit online.
I mean, we do good interviews, when we do them. So I mean, I haven't reached out to anyone big, but maybe I should start.
Reach out to Rogan.
He's not Rogan.
Aim for the top. No.
Even Dolan is not even on. No, I'm saying yes, he could be the goal, but to get there are steps.
No. Let's skip all the middle parts. Go to message Rogan, see what he says.
He'd be like, what?
He wouldn't even see it. You know that, right? It's his team.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he says he
his
doesn't.
Marketing team is behind him.
Right.
They would just go, here's another one. Right.
He keeps talking about how he doesn't even check social media anymore. So.
Well, let's storm his podcast studio in Texas.
Yeah, just to
interview us, Rogan.
All right, cool stuff.
Or message AJ on the Wi-Files. I'd be a great hecklefish.
Or we can. I mean, AJ was on Rogan as well, so he's made it.
Right, he was. See, that's our in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank you all so much for listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. That is Adam. I'm Topher, and we'll see you all next week.
Yep. Till next week. Oh, we might skip next week. Actually, we'll see though. You'll be traveling, and I have something, but we'll see. Maybe we'll make it work on a Saturday or something like that. But yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it will be 4th of July next week. So if we don't drop anything, have a good 4th of July, and
that's right.
Spend time with your family and friends, and think positive, happy thoughts, because our lives are too short to be negative and mean to one another.
Agreed. That's a great point. Yeah. Till next time, everyone.
America.
America.
Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, and now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher. We come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps. Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, and now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you we tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps.
Thank you, Taylor Swift, for that outro song.